Douluo, the old Yao lives in my body. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. Medicine Master lives in my body. Xingluo Empire. There is a small city called Yunluo City. 10 meters, 5 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter. A 6-year-old boy was lying on his back near the finish line, and the intense exercise made his chest rise and fall rhythmically. Black hair and black eyes. The streamlined muscle outline can be seen under the healthy wheat skin. His name is Yang Fan. He is a time traveler. As soon as he traveled through time, he knew that he had come to the world of Douluo Continent and became the only grandson of Yang Wudi, the patriarch of the Poe clan. At that time, Tang Hao and the Spirit Hall had a conflict. In order to protect themselves, the Haotian sect ruthlessly abandoned the 4 major sects affiliated with them and became the target of revenge by the Spirit Hall. At that time, he was still a crying baby and saw the Poe clan being ruthlessly slaughtered and suppressed by the Spirit Hall. The entire clan came to this small city on the edge of the Xingluo Empire like a stray dog after losing more than half of its members. A few years later, the Poe clan relied on alchemy and the 2 empires to do business, barely able to maintain the livelihood of the entire clan. Although the family's life got better day by day, the suppression of the Spirit Hall and the abandonment of the Haotian sect became the deepest thorn in the hearts of every family member. Yang Fan, who had just crossed over and lived a hard life, hated the Spirit Hall and Tang Hao, the initiator. Of course. Compared with before, he hated the abandonment of the Haotian sect more. So when Yang Fan was 3 years old, he made a strict plan for himself. Yang Fan is a senior comic fan. Before crossing over, he can be said to have a deep understanding of the Douluo Continent. One of them is, physical fitness can change the innate soul power. Take Tang San for example. It was because of the practice of Xuantian Gong that he awakened his innate full soul power. And the innate soul power determines the speed of a soul master's practice. So if you want to become a powerful soul master, you must have a higher innate soul power. Otherwise, everything is in vain. If a person's limit is only a great soul master, then in the later stage, eating natural materials and treasures is equivalent to feeding into a dog's stomach. What's more terrifying is that when a soul master's physical fitness does not meet the requirements, even if a powerful martial soul is awakened, it will produce bad mutations because the body can't bear it. In that case, it's probably useless. For those big sects and big families, this is no secret. Children of big families will take natural treasures to strengthen their bodies before the age of 6, so that they can awaken healthy martial souls and innate high-level soul power on the day of the martial soul awakening ceremony. The martial soul awakening seems to be a fair competition, but for those children of ordinary people, they may not be able to reach the starting line of others in their entire lives. So Yang Fan started training himself when he was 3 years old. From only being able to lift 2 bricks at the beginning, to now being able to run all over the mountain with a load of 20 kilograms. 3 years have passed in a flash. Tomorrow is the time for him to test the results of these 3 years. Little guy, you are tired already. Didn't you say you could run 10 laps today? Before the voice fell, the air behind Yang Fan was distorted violently. An old man in a white robe with fluttering sleeves suddenly appeared in front of Yang Fan. The old man looked old, but he looked unusually peaceful. His deep eyes exuded an old aura, but it was difficult to conceal the wisdom in them. Master. The old man who floated out of Yang Fan's body was his master Yao Chen. That's right. He was the #1 alchemist in the Douluo Continent. Yang only remembered that one night, when he was 4 years old, Yao Lao suddenly floated out of his body and then cried and made a fuss to accept him as a disciple. That night, the 2 established a relationship. From then on, this city had a soul to accompany him to forge his body. Every time he forged his body, Yao Lao would point out his problems and give him some pills and stages. It can be said that without Yao Lao, he would not be running all over the mountain with a load of 20 kilograms. Yang Fan didn't know why Yao Lao appeared in his body. Perhaps he touched some kind of space force when he crossed over. According to Yao Lao himself, 6 years ago, Yao Lao was killed by someone when he was refining medicine. The remaining wisp of soul was caught in the turbulence of time and space, and then came to this world called Douluo Continent in a daze. What's even more outrageous is that the soul drilled into his body. At the beginning, Yao Lao had tried to leave his body, but as soon as he did so, it was like a fish leaving the water, and the remaining wisp of soul was in danger of breaking apart. In the end, Yao Lao could only use his body as a safe haven. Come, let the master take a look at your physical condition. Yao Chen waved his sleeves gently, and a gentle energy was injected into Yang Fan's body. Wherever the energy passed, Yang Fan felt an indescribable comfort. When this energy traveled through his limbs, the previous fatigue was swept away. Go back. You have reached the limit of your body. If you continue to practice, your body will be useless. Yao Chen was desperate when he first came to this Douluo continent. His apprentice's backstab made him fall into a strange continent, and the soul power cultivated in this continent was not a little weaker than the Dao Qi he had cultivated before. The so-called soul power in this world was not enough to support him to repair his soul, let alone rebuild his body. Knowing that there was no hope of going back, Yao Chen slept in Yang Fan's body for 3 years and a days. Until Yang Fan's figure working hard to move bricks appeared. It was like a ray of light shooting into his heart, making his soul tremble. After a year of observation, he finally showed up one night to show his identity. Yang Fan also cried and made a fuss to become his disciple. Master, you said that I have been training my body for so long. Can I successfully awaken a powerful martial soul tomorrow? If Yang Fan was a native of the Puyi clan, he would not think so much. The key is that he is not. In Douluo Continent, the innate soul power determines the speed of soul master's cultivation, and the quality of the martial soul determines the upper limit of a soul master in most cases. Looking at the entire Douluo Continent, all those Douluo with titles, one by one, have awakened the top martial soul, and one has super high innate soul power from the beginning. So the saying there is no useless martial soul, only useless soul master is completely bullshit. In most cases, the awakening of the martial soul has determined the life of a soul master. Master, I can't say whether you can awaken a powerful martial spirit. You can only ask your parents. Just don't awaken a beast martial spirit like the powerful gorilla or the plate armored giant rhinoceros. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to handle the ceremony of the Puyi clan tomorrow. Chapter 2. Foundation Building Spiritual Liquid Body Strengthening. The back mountain of Yunluo City is about 5 kilometers away from the Puyi clan. Yang Fan would run all the way back after every training. For him now, it only takes 25 minutes to run 5 kilometers after training. Yang Fan is back. The brat went to the back mountain to run again. Tomorrow is the martial soul awakening ceremony. Get a congenital level 7 soul power to make our Puyi clan proud. When the clan members saw Yang Fan coming back, they all showed their enthusiasm. Not only because he was the only grandson of the clan leader, but more importantly, it was Yang Fan's hard work. When other children were still playing in the mud in open crotch pants, Yang Fan had already started to stretch his body strength by holding 2 stones. Although the children of the Puyi clan also undergo systematic training under the arrangement of the family, it is after all mandatory by the family, which is completely incomparable to Yang Fan's self-consciousness and hard work. So whenever the children of the family are disobedient, the parents beat them and grit their teeth. Look at Yang Fan. Look at Yang Fan. I'm back. Second uncle, third aunt. Yang Fan responded politely while running back to the backyard where he lived. Just as he was about to go back and take off his clothes to take a warm bath, he saw Grandpa Yang Wudi standing at the door. Going to exercise again. Yang Wudi is a tall and thin old man. Although he is over 60 years old, he still has a ruddy complexion and a neat black hair. His wrinkled face looks a little gloomy, and his gloomy eyes give people a grim feeling. He always maintains a cold look in front of his clan members, because the changes in his family have made him unable to smile anymore. However, when he sees Yang Fan, he can't help but reveal a kind look. You're back. Yang Fan nodded slightly dazedly. Rest early. Tomorrow is our family's awakening ceremony, so don't go to the back mountain to exercise again. Yang Wudi pinched Yang Fan's arm with a loving look on his face. Ever since his son died at the hands of the spirit hall, he has placed all his hopes on Yang Fan. Looking at Yang Fan, who was as strong as a calf, he smiled in his heart. Maybe tomorrow he could really awaken the highest level 7 soul power in the family history, as the clan members said. After Yang Wudi left, Yang Fan closed the door and secretly observed through the crack of the door. "Master, my grandfather is gone." As soon as the voice fell, a faint white mist floated behind Yang Fan, and Yao Lao stood with his hands behind his back, hanging in the room. "Hurry up and take off your clothes, and jump into the bathtub to practice." Yao Lao waved his hand, and took out a green bottle containing foundation building spirit liquid from the ring on his finger. Yao Lao and Yang Fan came to Douluo Continent in different ways. Yang Fan was born as a hungry baby, and he was naked when he came. Yao Lao's residual soul was swept into the turbulence of time and space. When he came to Douluo Continent, he still had his own ring on his body, but it was different from the Dupo. This time, Yao Lao did not get into the ring, but wore it on his finger. 2 drops of foundation building spirit liquid dripped into the bathtub, and Yang Fan felt a constant flow of energy into his body. This was his compulsory course every night, since he was 4 years old. Foundation building spirit liquid body refining. This medicine has the effect of activating potential and refining the body. Thinking about that, Xiao Yan evolved into the Flame Emperor by using the foundation building spirit liquid to refine his body. It can be said that this is the only choice for practitioners to consolidate their foundation. Yang Fan was very fortunate that there were purple leafed orchid grass and bone washing flowers on the Douluo Continent, which were herbs for refining foundation building spirit liquid. And they were not expensive. It was not because there were many such herbs on the Douluo Continent, but because no one knew the correct way to open these herbs. As for the first level wood type magic core for refining foundation building spirit liquid, Yao Lao directly used a 100-year-old plant type soul beast as a substitute. Although Yao Lao has always said that this foundation building spirit liquid without a magic core is much less effective, there is no better bodybuilding medicine for Yang Fan than this. Yang Fan only needs 1 hour to absorb the foundation building spirit liquid from the beginning, which took a whole night. When he slowly opened his eyes again, he felt an indescribable comfort and abundant energy filled his body. The bath water in the bathtub had also changed from the light green color at the beginning to the current transparent color. Not bad, not bad. Yao Lao stroked his beard, and a kind smile of an elder appeared on his face. Improved again. Yang Fan's current physical strength can at least be compared with those great soul masters in the Poe clan. "Master, thank you." Yang Fan felt that all the pores in his body were dilated at this time, and he seemed to have endless power. Master once told him that this situation was a signal that his body absorbed the foundation building spirit liquid from quantitative change to qualitative change. Rest. Tomorrow there will be more important things waiting for us, the master and the disciple. After the voice fell, Yao Lao disappeared into the room as a puff of white smoke. Yang Fan was lying alone on the bed, looking up at the starry sky. He just couldn't fall asleep. The upcoming martial soul awakening ceremony tomorrow will determine his fate in Douluo Continent. The next day, at dawn, Yang Fan got up early. He had not slept all night, but at this moment he did not feel sleepy at all. After getting dressed, he came to the fighting arena of the Poe clan. Yang Fan thought he had come early enough, but when he arrived at the fighting arena, there were already more than a dozen clan members standing here. It seems that there are many people who share the same pain as him. The adults in the family were all enthusiastic when they saw him. The children of the same age were different. After seeing Yang Fan, they all had a slight hostility on their faces. It was this that made their childhoods dark. The adults and children in the family looked at Yang Fan with different expressions, but each of them had an unconcealable nervousness and solemnity on their faces. In the Douluo Continent, the awakening of the martial soul is more important than the college entrance examination in the previous life. If you don't do well in the college entrance examination, you can still rely on your father. If the awakening of the martial soul is a waste, even if you have a father who is a titled Douluo, I'm afraid that he will not be able to break through to the great soul master. Yang Fan stood in the fighting arena for a short time, and the clan members had almost filled the entire fighting arena one after another. At this time, Yang Wudi and 2 elders also rushed over. Yang Fan looked over and saw a trace of fatigue in his grandfather's eyes. It seemed that he had not slept all night. Everyone be quiet. The martial soul awakening ceremony begins now. Children, stand on it. The martial soul awakening ceremony was presided over by 2 elders in the family. One was responsible for martial soul awakening, and the other was responsible for soul power testing. The elder stepped forward and took out the awakening stone from the storage soul guide. In an instant, a 6-pointed star awakening formation appeared in the center of the fighting soul field. Come one by one. The children of the family lined up according to the instructions of the elders, and Yang Fan stood at the end of the team. The awakening ceremony also officially began at this moment. Soul breaking spear. Soul breaking spear. For most of the clan members, the martial soul awakening was nothing to be nervous about or look forward to, and there were no strange martial souls that interfered with it. The couple loved each other, and the family was harmonious. As the clan leader, Yang Wudi nodded with satisfaction. Soon, the martial soul awakening ceremony came to Yang Fan. Facing the awakening moment that determined his fate, Yang Fan couldn't remain calm. His heart was already twisted. On the one hand, he hoped to awaken a martial soul that was more powerful than the soul-breaking spear, so as to lead the family to glory. On the other hand, he was worried that he would really awaken a messy martial soul and be regarded as an alien by the family. After entering the center of the awakening formation, Yang Fan consciously closed his eyes and began to quietly feel the changes in himself. But, in less than a moment, Yang Fan felt that some kind of power awakened in his body and then continued to condense towards his right hand from afar. At this moment, his right hand seemed to be dragged upward by this power. Yang Fan slowly opened his eyes, and a touch of fiery red light and shadow gradually emerged in the palm of his right hand. Chapter 3, Soul Awakening. The fiery red light and shadow condensed in Yang Fan's palm at a speed visible to the naked eye. Finally, it turned into a black spear. Soul-breaking spear. Yang Fan recognized his own martial soul, which was inherited from the Puyi clan, but his martial soul was obviously different from the soul-breaking spear. The soul-breaking spears of other children who also awakened their martial souls were only about 10 centimeters in length, but his was at least 18 centimeters without the head. The most eye-catching thing was that there was a strange flame pattern on the spear. Others might not know, but Yang Fan, who followed Yao Lao, recognized what this pattern attached to the spear was. Pill pattern. Yao Lao had asked him to take a 4th grade fire-devouring pill with pill patterns. The function of this pill is that after taking it, it can forge the body like a flame, thereby increasing the body's strength. What is this? Yang Wudi had already stood up excitedly. As the clan leader and grandfather, he had focused all his attention on Yang Fan from the beginning, so how could he not notice the situation in Yang Fan's palm at this time? The soul-breaking spear has mutated. The clan elder closest to Yang Fan exclaimed. Yang Fan, come over here quickly, to test your soul power. There are only 2 situations when a martial soul mutates. One is to mutate in a good direction, and the other is to mutate in a bad direction. In the vast majority of cases, it is the latter. Although there are some soul masters with mutated martial souls on the Douluo Continent who can be famous, most of them have disappeared and will never attract the attention of the soul master circle in their lifetime. Yang Fan was more excited than anyone else at this moment and felt as if his heart was about to jump out of his throat. He was the last one to awaken his martial soul, and he had been arranged to be the first to test his innate soul power. Because the only criterion for judging the quality of martial soul mutations is innate soul power. Put it on it. In front of Yang Fan, an awakening stone for testing soul power appeared. This awakening stone was about the same size as his body. The only difference compared to ordinary stones was that it had been tested for soul power too many times and had been rubbed out. At this moment, hundreds of eyes of the Puyi clan were all focused on Yang Fan. Yang Fan took a deep breath and slowly placed his palm on the awakening stone. At the moment when the two touched, the energy that had just awakened in his body began to stir, as if it was about to be sucked into the awakening stone. The originally silent awakening stone was instantly filled with fiery red soul power. The light overflowed, rendering the entire fighting soul field innate full soul power. Ha ha ha, it's innate full soul power. It's innate full soul power. Yang Wudi was so excited that he kept slapping the armrests on the seat, and 2 lines of old tears were shed on the fighting soul field of the Poe clan. Only innate full soul power can emit such a dazzling light. The clan members couldn't keep calm at this moment. In the history of the Poe clan, the highest innate soul power was level 7. Yang Fan's awakening of innate full soul power at this moment has shocked the entire family. Even if it is placed in the entire Douluo Continent, it is quite explosive. Yang Fan looked at the fiery red soul power surrounding him and clenched his fists heavily. 3 years. Do you know how he spent these 3 years? He was waiting for this day. Innate full soul power and mutated soul breaking spear are exactly what he wants. The martial soul awakening ceremony is still going on. However, with the example of the previous one, no matter how many levels of innate soul power the soul masters awaken, they can no longer surprise the clan members. Yang Fan returned to the backyard and sat in his room. He mobilized the soul power in his body to summon the mutated soul breaking spear. Congratulations, little guy. Yao Lao floated out from behind Yang Fan like a ghost. In the past few years in Douluo Continent, Yao Lao has also understood the practice and upgrade system of soul masters. People like Yang Fan are considered little geniuses in Douluo Continent. At the awakening ceremony just now, he saw with his own eyes that Yang Wudi was so excited that his nose was about to burst. Master, thank you. Yang Fan knew that all this was inseparable from the master's training for 2 years. The Danwen of the soul-breaking spear is the most dazzling mark on his body that Yao Lao whipped him. Innate full soul power is the limit of his martial soul, but it is definitely not Yao Lao's. Don't thank me. All this is the reward for your hard work. I didn't help you much. Yao Lao's deep eyes were full of kindness that could not be concealed. Looking at his beloved disciple who had just been accepted for 2 years, he also found the meaning of living in the form of a residual soul in Douluo Continent. Master, what's the matter with the Dan pattern on my soul-breaking spear? The mutation of his soul-breaking spear was not obvious. In addition to being thicker than ordinary soul-breaking spears, the most special thing was the strange pattern on it. It's easy to explain. The fire-eating pill you ate when you were 5 years old changed your body and also changed your martial soul. Soul masters are different from fighting masters. Fighting masters skills, fighting skills, and even weapons are acquired through training. The martial soul is something that everyone in Douluo Continent has, and it is a part of the body. Although Yao Lao knew it, he had never thought that an ordinary fire-eating pill would cause a soul master's martial soul to mutate. Oh. The situation Yao Lao said was almost the same as Yang Fan's guess. The fire-eating pill not only improved his physical strength, but also made his spear thicker. However, Yang Fan had not yet felt what was special about the soul-breaking spear after its mutation. Have you thought about it? The atmosphere in the room suddenly changed. He and Yao Lao had agreed a long time ago that he would take him out for training after his martial soul awakened. And now the time has come to this point. I have thought about it. Yang Fan's eyes were firm. The idea of going out for training had never wavered in his heart from beginning to end. Since he was 3 years old, he has been constantly exercising in the hope that he can have a strong martial soul and innate high-level soul power when his martial soul awakens. He wants to be a powerful soul master. Going out for training is the first step of his goal. Okay. Since you have decided, then the master will accompany you. On the other side, Yang Fan's awakening of the mutated martial soul and innate soul power caused an uproar in the family. Yang Wudi and the 2 elders of the family gathered together to hold a family meeting as soon as the martial soul awakening ceremony ended. I have already told the clan members about Yang Fan's awakening of innate soul power and asked them to keep their mouths shut and never publicize it to the outside world. After the excitement, Yang Wudi and the elders also calmed down. Although the Poe clan has stabilized in the Douluo Continent in the past 2 years, it is also because their medicine refining has brought benefits to the 2 empires, so the spirit hall dare not openly target them. If the news that a soul master with innate full soul power appeared in the Poe clan leaks out, the spirit hall will definitely kill him with its style of doing things. Don't worry, clan leader. As long as the 2 of us old guys are alive, we will not let those bastards in the spirit hall touch Yang Fan. Our top priority now is to discuss how to train Yang Fan next. What else is there to discuss? Yang Fan is a genius that the PoE clan rarely sees in a century. He is a gift from God to our PoE clan. Chapter 4. The ninth soul skill of the soul breaking spear is called courage. In the evening, Yang Fan tried to cultivate soul power for the first time in his room. He sat cross-legged on the bed, and the soul breaking spear was summoned by him at this moment, quietly floating in front of him. Yang Fan could feel that when he started to practice, there was an invisible energy in the air that continuously gathered towards his martial soul and was gradually absorbed by the martial soul. This is the most common method of soul power cultivation on Douluo Continent. Through meditation, the martial soul can continuously absorb soul power, which can feed back to the soul master to improve the level. If you want to practice faster, you need to use a simulated practice environment. The PoE clan had it before, but it doesn't now. About an hour later, Yang Fan finished his first soul power practice. At this time, there was a gentle knock on the door outside. Bang bang bang. Xiao Fan, it's Grandpa. As soon as the voice fell, Yang Wudi pushed the door and walked in. Yang Fan could feel that his grandfather should have been standing outside for a long time, waiting for him to finish practicing before choosing to come in. Grandpa. Yang Fan couldn't believe his eyes. It was the first time he saw a smile on his grandfather's face in 6 years. To be honest, he never dreamed that his grandfather Yang Wudi would laugh so ugly. Come, let Grandpa see your gun. Yang Wudi sat down and rubbed Yang Fan's head with his rough hands. The next second, the air in the room produced a weak fluctuation, and the mutated soul-breaking gun was suspended in Yang Fan's palm. After practicing this afternoon, he has been able to skillfully summon and retract the martial spirit. Good. Yang Wudi's eyes flashed with brilliance, and even when he saw the crystal blood dragon ginseng of the old white bird, he didn't emit such a dazzling light. The grandson's gun is not only longer and thicker than others, but also darker than ordinary soul-breaking guns, and even has a flame tattoo on the gun. Even without a soul ring, it still gives people a sense of holding their heads high and moving forward. It is your innate full soul power that caused the soul-breaking gun to mutate. There are only 2 types of mutations. One is that the physical fitness of the soul master cannot support the martial spirit, resulting in a mutation in a bad direction. The second is that the physical fitness of the soul master is strong enough to affect the gradual change of the martial spirit. Yang Fan belongs to the latter. Grandpa will tell you about our soul-breaking spear today. Soul-breaking spear soul masters have a built-in 10,000-year soul ring. However, this 10,000-year soul ring will only appear after they reach Soul Saint and possess the true body of the martial soul. Grandpa, I know. The PoE clan has always had 2 views on the built-in 10,000-year soul ring. One is that this is the advantage of the soul-breaking spear soul master, allowing them to have 8 soul rings when they reach Soul Saint. There are also clan members who say that this is the curse of the soul-breaking spear. Because of the appearance of this built-in soul ring, the soul-breaking spear soul master will never be able to become a titled Douluo. Even this built-in 10,000-year soul ring cannot provide soul skills for the soul-breaking spear soul master. Xiao Fan, work hard. Maybe you can become the first titled Douluo of our PoE clan. Yang Wudi's smile was mixed with a hint of bitterness. As long as a soul master with innate full soul power grows up healthily, he will most likely become a titled Douluo. But the built-in 10,000-year soul ring seems to have become a bottleneck that cannot be broken through. In the history of the PoE clan, there were also several soul Douluos at level 89, but it was because of that self-contained 10,000-year soul ring that completely killed their Douluo dream. He had also thought about taking over the last wishes of his ancestors and taking the PoE clan to the next level, but the abandonment of the Haotian sect caused a huge change in the PoE clan. Not only did he not make any progress in 6 years, he was even left with injuries under the suppression of the spirit hall. He himself knew that it was impossible to touch the title Douluo in this life. Grandpa, I will. Yang Fan once talked to Yao Lao about the matter of the self-contained 10,000-year soul ring. Although there is no way to solve it now, the road is made by people. The outside world has always believed that we can't become titled Douluo, but each of our soul-breaking spear soul masters has an innate soul skill. Innate soul skill? Yang Fan looked puzzled. Yes. The 9th soul skill of the soul-breaking spear is called courage. At this moment, Yang Fan understood what his grandfather wanted to express. The soul-breaking spear is a destructive martial spirit, and the soul rings hunted by each soul-breaking spear soul master must have a certain degree of offensiveness. This leads to the soul-breaking spear soul master only attacking and giving up defense. You performed very well in the martial spirit awakening ceremony today, and this is a reward from our family. The next moment, Yang Fan saw a purple pill in his grandfather's rough palm. Yang Fan recognized this pill. It is called the soul strengthening pill. After taking it, the soul master can temper the soul power and consolidate the foundation of the soul master. Thank you, Grandpa. Yang Fan felt that the pill was extremely heavy in his hand. Although the Puyi clan is a medicine refiner, they really can't afford the soul strengthening pill. There is no other reason. Among the medicinal materials for refining the soul strengthening pill, there is a herb called soul gathering grass. Even if you grab a plant of this herb and put it in your mouth, it can play a role in restoring soul power. Because of this herb has gone from rare to rare on the Douluo Continent, and even the big sects may not have much stock. Even ordinary people can play a role in strengthening their bodies after eating it. Such an inconspicuous little purple pill can be sold for hundreds of gold soul coins on the Douluo Continent. I have discussed with the elders of the family and will focus on your training. You no longer need to sneak around to get herbs from the pharmacy. The family's pharmacy is fully open to you from today. Just ask as soon as you need it. This is the privilege that the family has opened up to Yang Fan, and it is also the treatment that Yang Fan should enjoy. A soul master with full innate soul power is enough for the entire family to teach him everything. You don't need to be too anxious about the soul ring. After the several great soul masters in the family breakthrough, Grandpa will personally take you to get soul rings. Grandpa also told you before that the soul ring bottleneck cannot prevent the soul master's soul power from improving. You can practice boldly without worrying. Yang Wudi smiled again. Grandpa, Yang Fan hesitated and couldn't say the words that were on his lips. It's getting late. Take the medicine and rest. I'll take it later. Grandpa, you should rest early too. While sending Grandpa away, Yao Lao was already suspended in the air. Master, thank you for your trouble. The soul strengthening pill has a significant effect on soul masters, but the effect is even better after being processed by Yao Lao. Give it to me. Yao Lao waved his hand. The next second, the soul strengthening pill was already suspended in Yao Lao's palm. Yao Lao looked at the soul strengthening pill in front of him and frowned. This old man is good in every way. He is a responsible clan leader and a kind and harmonious grandfather. But his level of medicine refining is really unbearable. Jump in. The daily compulsory course of building the foundation spirit liquid body forging has begun again. Although the martial soul awakening ceremony was very successful, he awakened a powerful mutant martial soul and innate full soul power, but this is just the beginning of becoming a powerful soul master. New author and new book, please collect and read. Chapter 5, Going Out for Training. After the awakening of his martial spirit, Yang Fan's physical strength increased again. The foundation building spirit fluid that originally took an hour to absorb now only takes half an hour. When Yang Fan opened his eyes again, a red pill was floating in front of him. Take it. Yang Fan took the pill. He was shocked. Is this still the soul strengthening pill that his grandfather gave him? The soul strengthening pill just now was purple, and the surface was obviously dark. The pill in his hand now is a crystal clear blood red, and if you look closely, you can see the halo flowing on the pill. The change of just one pill can show the visible difference between his grandfather and Yao Lao. Silly boy, don't stand there stupidly. Take it quickly. Yang Fan took it as he was told. The pill went into his throat. Yang Fan felt a warm energy bursting in his throat, and then traveled through the 8 extraordinary meridians. Wherever it passed, the tendons and veins of the body seemed to be transformed drastically. This warm energy lasted for about half an hour. When Yang Fan came out of this state, his fist was covered with a gust of wind. Yang Fan's biggest feeling was that the weak soul power that had just awakened in his body became stronger. At the beginning, Yang Fan could only feel the existence of soul power in his body when he summoned his martial soul. Now, even if he sat quietly like this, he could feel a mass of air in his body. Master, can I become a pharmacist? Are you talking about me or your grandfather? Of course it's you. Although Yang Fan said that he respected his grandfather very much, he had to admit that his grandfather's level of medicine refining was really not worth mentioning in front of Yao Lao. He said that if he wanted to learn, he must learn the best. My level is difficult. Not everyone can learn it if they want to. A real pharmacist needs fire attribute mixed with wood attribute to refine medicine. In his world, pharmacists have always been popular, and every pharmacist is fought over by major sects. In Douluo Continent, I'm afraid that only Yao Chen is the only one. Do soul masters have attributes? Yang Fan only knew about the 5 elemental academies in Xiandao City. Apart from these, soul masters did not really have elemental factions. Of course, every soul master has his own elemental attribute. Yang Fan couldn't wait to ask, what is my attribute? Too weak, I can't tell at the moment. Yao Lao has been on Douluo Continent for a few years and has a simple understanding of this place. The attributes of soul masters on this continent are relatively chaotic among great soul masters. Generally, the attributes will gradually become clear after obtaining the second soul ring. This is completely different from the Daoqi continent. Dao masters can clearly distinguish the attributes in Daoqi from the beginning of practicing Daoqi. Some people can feel their own attributes. You can try to feel it more often. This will help your practice. Yao Lao said. Can you feel it? I feel that the fire attribute in my body is quite strong. His soul power is fiery red, and the Dan pattern on the soul breaking spear is also in the shape of flames. Even his body feels like a ball of flame burning. Yellow urine doesn't count. Your problem is that you took too many pills and got angry. A clan member who suddenly passed by the door interrupted the conversation between the master and the apprentice. When the clan member left, the silence in the room still lingered. Yang Fan sat in front of the window, looking at the full moon hanging in the sky, and fell into deep thought. Don't force yourself to leave if you don't want to. Even if you stay in Yunluo City, Master has the confidence to make you an excellent soul master. Yao Lao could understand Yang Fan's thoughts at the moment. He had a clan leader grandfather who loved him, and a group of clan members who treated him kindly. After the martial soul awakening ceremony, the entire family even opened up the privilege of cultivation for him. In this case, even if he wavered in the idea of going out for training, it was understandable. No way. Yang Fan took out a writing brush and wrote a farewell letter on the table. He didn't know when he would be able to come back after leaving this time, so he had to explain everything to his grandfather. After a while, a complete farewell letter was written. At this time, a pill recipe was lightly superimposed on the farewell letter. This is a recipe for blood coagulation powder. Not only does it record the medicinal materials needed for refining, but it also writes down every step in detail. Leave this recipe with you. That's all he can do. With his current state of residual soul, he can't change the situation where the Pouyi clan is continuously suppressed by the spirit hall. He hopes that this recipe can make life easier for the Pouyi clan. Master, thank you. Yang Fan's nose was sour, and he turned to ask, my grandfather should have no problem with this recipe. It's not difficult at all. This thing can be learned by a bundog. Yao Chen took into account Yang Wuda's level of refining medicine and specially developed a blood coagulation powder for soul masters. The effect is that it can play a role in healing. For the nobles of the two empires, blood coagulation powder may not be used, but for soul masters who are responsible for helping others hunt soul rings in exchange for rewards in the soul beast forest, blood coagulation powder is a must-have. The master and apprentice didn't even wait until dawn, and quietly left the Pouyi clan under the cover of night. The next day, Yang Wudi saw that the little genius in the family did not go out to practice. I was panicking. He brought two elders to Yang Fan's room, only to see a parting letter left on the table. Grandpa, I'm leaving. Don't worry, I'm just going out to gain some experience. Don't you always say that if you want to become a powerful spirit master, you have to go through the fire of tempering? I'm going to become a powerful spirit master now. I wasn't captured by the spirit hall, so you must not go to the spirit hall to risk your life. Steady, don't be reckless. We, the Pouyi clan, will always have a day to avenge our hatred. There is a prescription I bought from outside on the table. When you have nothing to do, learn to practice it. Maybe you can practice a best-selling medicine. Xiao Fan. Yang Wudi slapped his thigh in anger after reading the letter. This kid must have gone to find his own spirit ring. He now began to regret that he shouldn't have said so much to his grandson last night, which stimulated the always hard-working Yang Fan. Clan leader, I have sent people out to look for him. We will definitely catch this kid back. The conflict between the Poyi clan and the Spirit Hall has already reached the point of being on the verge of a fight. If others knew that Yang Fan had awakened his innate full soul power, the Spirit Hall would definitely take action against Yang Fan. Clan leader, is this a prescription? Yes, Yang Fan bought it outside. Yang Wudi, who has always been passionate about alchemy, didn't even have the mood to take a second look at it. For him, nothing is more important than Yang Fan. This is the first time a newcomer has written a book. Please collect it and read it later. Chapter 6, Star Forest. The Xingdao Great Forest is located in the south of the Xiandao Empire, spanning the Xiandao and Xingluo empires. There are many soul beasts here. It is also the place where the boundary between the two empires is the least clear. From the map, most of the Xingdao Great Forest is within the territory of the Xingluo Empire. Yunluo City is on the border of the Xingluo Empire, not far from the Xingdao Great Forest, only less than 200 kilometers away. Even so, it was already 3 days later when Yang Fan stood here. He was running all the way. He sat down to rest when he was tired and ate something when he was hungry before setting off again. Before reaching the Xingdao Great Forest, Yang Fan already felt a gust of breeze blowing on his face, and the smell of the plant fragrance was refreshing. It made people feel indescribably comfortable. From a distance, Yang Fan saw the endless green ocean in front of him. For Yang Fan, the first thing he did when he went out for training was to obtain his first soul ring. Although the bottleneck of the soul ring will not affect the improvement of the soul master's strength, Yang Fan can't wait. He can't wait to have his own first soul skill. Master, can you beat a titled Douluo? Yao Lao was at the peak of Daozan in Douluo Continent. Even if he was killed and hid in the ring, he still had the strength of Daohuang. Yang Fan was very curious about what level Yao Lao was at after being swept into the Douluo Continent by the turbulence of time and space. I may not even be able to beat your grandfather. Yao Lao was not being modest. He was just a remnant soul at the moment. If he was in Daoqi Continent, he might still be able to retain the strength of Daohuang, but in the Douluo Continent where Daoqi was thin, he was probably only at the level of Daoling. He hadn't used Daoqi for a long time. What are you planning to do, little guy? Yao Lao said with a smile. Nothing, just asking. In another sunset forest in Douluo Continent, there is a place where natural treasures grow, but it's occupied by poison Douluo. Yang Fan had long planned to go to the yin yang eye of ice and fire to get a hold of something after his martial soul awakened. After all, that was the place in Douluo Continent that had the highest level natural treasures. In the original novel, it was because the Shrek 7 devils ate the immortal herbs that they were able to improve their strength to soul masters before the soul master competition. Not only that, those guys' subsequent achievements were inseparable from the help of immortal herbs. Poison Douluo? Are you talking about the poison Douluo whose martial soul is the green phosphorus snake king? Yao Lao has not slept every day in the past few years in Douluo Continent. The situation, power distribution and various masters of the continent are all understood. Yes, that poison Douluo. If it's him, it's not impossible to give it a try. If it was someone else, Yao Lao would probably not be sure at all. But he heard that Douluo was the weakest titled Douluo in Douluo Continent. In addition, Douluo is a titled Douluo who plays with poison. Yao Chen has been roaming the Douluo Continent for so many years. What kind of poison has he not seen? Then let's go to Sunset Forest after we get the soul ring. Yang Fan is already impatient. Silly boy, it's not that easy. Even if we go, we have to be prepared. The master and apprentice walked and talked and soon stood in front of the Xingdao Great Forest. The tall trees blocked out the sun, at least more than 20 meters. The dense forest made it impossible to see the path. Compared with the refreshing feeling before, it was now a little more gloomy. At this time, Yang Fan had released the soul-breaking spear. He dared not be careless. In the Xingdao Great Forest surrounded by soul beasts, a careless move could cost him his life. Entering the Xingdao Great Forest, Yang Fan used the soul-breaking spear to cut through the thorns and thorns all the way. Every slash was a tempering of his own soul power. Although a few soul beasts jumped out of the bushes, they did not catch Yang Fan's eye. He had a clear goal. This time he came to the Xingdao Great Forest to hunt for a soul ring that could provide him with attack power. According to his grandfather, the soul-breaking spear martial spirit has a history of thousands of years on the Douluo Continent. During this process, the soul-breaking spear soul master had many development directions. The purpose was to break the curse that the soul-breaking spear could not reach the title Douluo. But the final results were all unsatisfactory. Thousands of years of deduction have proved that the ultimate attack is the best way out for the soul-breaking spear soul master. Listen to others' advice and eat enough. Yang Fan did not intend to play tricks in the direction of cultivation. He himself analyzed that there are only a few development directions for soul masters: defense, attack, agility, control, and assistance. There is really no need to choose a martial soul full of offense. Yao Lao's advice to him was also to take the offensive route. Yang Fan also has strict requirements for the age of his first soul ring. It must be 1,000 years. As we all know, the limit of the first soul ring of a soul master is 423 years. But it is not absolute. The age of a soul master absorbing soul rings actually depends on the strength of the body. In other words, the stronger the physical fitness, the higher the age that can be absorbed. The reason why there is a saying that the limit of the first soul ring is 423 years is because basically the first soul ring of a soul master will explode and die if it exceeds this age. Gradually, no one dared to try the limit of the soul ring. Over time, 423 years has become a threshold that soul masters cannot cross. Here is a good example. The limit of the first soul ring is 423 years, the limit of the second soul ring is 764 years, and the age of the third soul ring is 1760 years. There is no specific value for the number above, and it can only be generally determined in thousands. This shows that as the level increases, the physical strength of soul masters is gradually widening, and there is a huge gap in the age of soul rings that can be absorbed and endured. At this time, the movement in front of him instantly brought Yang Fan back to reality. He held the soul-breaking spear tightly with both hands, squatted down, and was ready to attack. Before awakening his martial spirit, the family had already regarded children of the same age as him as soul-breaking spear soul masters. So in the next 3 years, he not only went to the back mountain every day to temper his physical strength, but also learned a few moves from his clansmen. Attention! There is a tiger with fire all over its body approaching 50 meters ahead. This is the first time that Yao Lao has seen a living animal soul beast on the Douluo Continent. It looks and sounds impressive, but I don't know how strong it is. Yao Lao's strength made him notice this flaming tiger at the very beginning, but he didn't remind Yang Fan. He wanted to see what level of Yang Fan's soul power was. Sure enough, he was not disappointed. Roar, the tiger roar on the other side of the bush made Yang Fan's forehead sweat. Yao Lao was seeing a soul beast for the first time, and so was he. As a young man in the 21st century, he had to go into battle to be a tiger fighting hero after 3 years of training. It's nonsense to say that he's not nervous. Chapter 7, Flame Soul Breaking Spear. Roar, a huge fireball leaped up from the dense bushes and then fell heavily to the ground. In front of Yang Fan appeared a tiger with flames all over its body. It was about 3 meters long, nearly 2 meters high at the shoulder, and its forelimbs looked thicker than his thighs. There were black zigzag lines on its strong body. This contrast of red and black made the tiger look more ferocious and fierce. Flame Tiger. Yang Fan has studied soul beasts a lot in the 6 years since he came to Douluo Continent. From the inconspicuous black lines on the tail of the flame tiger, it can be determined that this is a colorful tiger at the critical point of 1,000 years. Don't be afraid. This is the first soul beast you face in your life, and it is also the most important step for you to become a soul master. Yao Lao understood Yang Fan's mood at the moment. Thinking back to when he first faced the magic beast on the Douluo Continent, he was also nervous and sweaty on his back. Yang Fan's mind was blank, and he didn't take Yao Lao's inspiring words into his ears at all. Seeing the flame tiger pounce on him, Yang Fan clenched his soul-breaking spear and stabbed out at the same time. Ding dang, the soul-breaking spear stabbed the sharp front claws of the flame tiger, and it made a crisp sound of metal collision. With sparks flying everywhere, Yang Fan sat down on the ground. He always thought that his physical fitness and strength were very strong, but there was still a visible gap between him and a beast. Without giving Yang Fan any time to react, the flame tiger jumped high in a flash and slapped him to the ground. The scorching temperature and the fishy smell mixed together and hit him in the face, making his stomach churn. The flame tiger's thick front claws hit Yang Fan's chest, pressing him so hard that he was almost out of breath. Fortunately, there was a soul-breaking spear between him and the flame tiger, otherwise his chest would probably have been torn open by this beast. He saw from the corner of his eye that Yao Lao was already floating above his head, waving his empty hand. "Master, I can do it." Yang Fan almost shouted this sentence with all his strength. This was his first time to hunt soul beasts in the Xingdao Great Forest, and he didn't want to return in failure. After hesitating for a long time, Yao Lao, who was suspended in the air, took back the fighting spirit in his palm, and his kind eyes were full of admiration. He really didn't misjudge this brat. Whether Yang Fan could deal with this gorgeous tiger today or not, he already had the necessary conditions for a cultivator. With this roar, Yang Fan's strength gathered from his whole body to his chest, and the soul power in his body began to surge. A miracle happened. Under the surge of soul power in Yang Fan's body, the flame pattern of the soul-breaking spear in his hand was filled with fiery red light at a speed visible to the naked eye. When all the patterns were filled, the light overflowed, and a foot-long flame emerged from the tip of the soul-breaking spear. The flame spewed, and the burning 1,000-year-old tiger couldn't open its eyes. It was at this time that Yang Fan seized the opportunity, using his waist and abdominal strength to stare at the chest of the flame tiger with his legs, and then rolled over to open his tiger claws, and at the same time, the soul-breaking spear pierced the tiger's neck. When Yang Fan pulled out the soul-breaking spear, blood gushed out like a spring. Roar, the flame tiger roared to the sky. The severe pain made this colorful beast rampage in the forest. Blood dyed the flame tiger's body red and left one tiger claw blood mark after another on the ground. The wound on the flame tiger's neck had already appeared obviously charred. The next second, the 1,000-year-old flame tiger, which had lost its mind, pounced on Yang Fan. Yang Fan did not dare to neglect it. Soul beasts will stimulate their animal nature when they are furious, and their attacks will become stronger. He seized the opportunity and used the length of the soul-breaking spear to dodge and jump like a monkey onto a tree that two people could hug, holding the soul-breaking spear tightly with both hands, and stabbed it like Runtu. The impact of Yang Fan's fall and the sharpness of the soul-breaking spear instantly pierced the flame tiger's neck. The neck is the most vulnerable and fatal part of any living being. The flame tiger, whose neck was hit twice, no longer had the strength to resist. It fell to the ground, gasping for breath, and its limbs trembled, as if it was making a final resistance with its life. Yang Fan did not give the flame tiger any chance. He jumped off the flame tiger and finished off the vital parts. After seeing the flames on the flame tiger extinguished, and the behemoth no longer had any signs of life, Yang Fan sat on the ground and gasped with relief. Yang Fan now finally understood the effect of his martial soul mutation. Flame soul-breaking spear. After his martial soul mutation, he had more explosive fire attribute energy than others, making his soul-breaking spear more explosive. While the sharp soul-breaking spear tip pierced the enemy's body defense, the flame attached to it could cause powerful burning damage to the enemy. It seems not an exaggeration to say that this effect is a martial soul enchantment. While Yang Fan was stunned, a purple soul ring had risen from the body of the flame tiger to a height of about 5 meters. The soul ring was about 2 meters in diameter and was suspended above the flame tiger. After a soul beast dies, it will 100% explode its soul ring, and this soul ring will exist for about half an hour. If it is not absorbed by a soul master during this period, it will disappear naturally. Master, I'm going to absorb this soul ring. The flame tiger is a very domineering soul beast. This soul beast not only has explosive fire attributes, but also has a terrifying attack power. If it weren't for the good luck that he stabbed the flame tiger's neck just now, Yang Fan might not have been able to deal with this beast. Have you thought about it? Yao Lao asked. Think about it. Yang Fan looked up and stared at the 1,000-year soul ring suspended in the air. He had an inexplicable confidence that his body could eat it. If you think about it, do it. Yao Lao has studied soul rings on Douluo Continent in recent years. Soul rings are simply a special energy body. After absorbing the energy, the soul master can improve his strength and gain soul skills. The older the soul ring is, the more powerful the energy body is. If the soul master's body cannot bear a powerful soul ring, it will explode and die. However, if there is an accident during the energy absorption process, a more powerful force can be inserted to interrupt the absorption. Thank you, Master. Yang Fan took a deep breath and adjusted his body to the best state. He formed seals with his hands. When he circulated his soul power, his body naturally became like a vortex that constantly pulled the soul ring together. The soul ring changed from large to small. The energy ring that was 2 meters in diameter just now was already on Yang Fan's body in the blink of an eye. A strange energy shot into his body, causing his soul to tremble. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Fighting Power, Stage 3. Master, do you think I'm awesome? Yang Fan was standing on a unique purple soul ring. His strong physique allowed him to successfully absorb the spirit ring in just 2.5 hours. Yao Lao was suspended in the air and said lazily, Fighting Spirit, 3rd stage. Yang Fan felt his physical condition. After absorbing the soul ring, he had reached level 13. This level was not surprising to him. On the way here, Yao Lao once told him that the soul strengthening pill he took from the Pouyi clan was to temper his soul power and consolidate his foundation, and the level would not increase too fast in the early stage. There is no need to be discouraged. You are also a talented young man in Douluo Continent. Yao Lao saw the fighting spirit of Yang Fan in the battle with the flame tiger from beginning to end. Master, when can I practice fighting skills? Yao Lao asked with a smile. Can you feel the existence of fighting spirit now? Yang Fan shook his head. Since you can't even sense fighting spirit, what's the point of practicing? The release of fighting skills requires sufficient fighting spirit as a congenital condition, and the amount of fighting spirit in the body of a fighting master is closely related to the practice method. When you can feel fighting spirit, the master can teach you fighting skills. You can only learn the skills after you can condense fighting spirit into a cyclone. Yang Fan understood. It's just that he has no mana now, so he can't release the skills, even if he clicks on them. Don't think too much for now, let the master take a look at your first soul skill. Yang Fan heard it, and his eyes suddenly lit up. The soul power in his palm surged, and the flame soul breaking gun appeared in his hand. At the same time, the purple soul ring under his feet also flashed a dazzling light. He held the flame soul breaking gun in his hand, and pointed it hard in front of him. A fist-sized hole was pierced through a tree that required several people to hug. This is his first soul skill, penetration. After release, it can increase the penetration by 100% and increase the attack power by 30%. The soul skills of the soul-breaking spear soul master have always been very simple, nothing more than shock, break, stab, pick, and chop. The real essence is the attack power, provided by each soul ring and the fighting style of the soul-breaking spear soul master. No matter what soul skills the enemy uses, the only way for the soul-breaking spear soul master to deal with it is to attack forward. Just like his grandfather said, the 9th soul skill of the soul-breaking spear soul master is called courage. With this soul skill, Yang Fan feels that he can see through anyone he sees. Master, I'm now considered a fire attribute. The soul-breaking spear after mutation has already possessed the energy of bursting flames, and the more than a foot-long flame on the tip of the spear is enough to explain the problem. It is indeed a pure fire attribute. But the master also said that, if you want to become an alchemist, you must have a trace of wood mixed in the fire attribute. The word pure became particularly harsh at this time. Yang Fan said that he really didn't want to be that pure. But you don't have to be so depressed. With master by your side, are you still worried about not having pills to eat in the future? As soon as the voice fell, Yao Lao's soul had floated over. With a wave of his hand, a blue pill appeared in front of Yang Fan. "Master, what kind of pill is this?" The pill hanging in front of him looked like blue amber, and the halo flowing on it made Yang Fan realize that things were not that simple. "I made this pill for you. It mainly uses the most common blue silver grass on Douluo Continent, as well as several other medicinal materials such as blackgust rhodia and spirit absorbing leaves." Yang Fan was surprised. Blue silver grass can also be used to make pills. Of course. Blue silver grass is the most common plant on this continent, and also the most vigorous plant, which means it has a strong affinity with the environment of Douluo Continent. Yang Fan couldn't wait to ask, "What is the function of this blue pill?" "It can help you quickly condense Dao Qi." "Silly boy, give this pill a name." Yao Lao's face was full of arrogance. After all, this was the first pill he had researched on Douluo Continent. "Well, let's call it the breathing pill." Yao Lao's arrogant face suddenly changed. "Isn't it good to call it the gathering key pill? Don't name it in the future. If you say the gathering key pill, then it's the gathering key pill." Yang Fan swallowed it without saying a word. The pill went down his throat and left a faint taste of blue silver grass in his mouth, and there was no other feeling. "Master, when did you refine this pill?" "When you were 5 years old and cutting blue silver grass on the mountain." Yang Fan's thoughts instantly went back to that summer when Yao Lao asked him to carry blue silver grass to the family like a dog. It turned out that everything was for the pill. Why didn't you take out this medicine earlier? If he had taken it earlier, perhaps he would have begun to condense the Dao Qi cyclone now. Stinky boy, with your little strength, even if you took this key gathering pill, you would have excreted it as urine. However, in the next second Yang Fan suddenly felt a change in his body. He slowly raised his right hand. "Master, is this Dao Qi?" A faint fiery red gas suddenly appeared on his hand. This wisp of gas does not belong to soul power, but it is more mellow and richer than soul power. Although it is very weak, it is real. Yes, this is Dao Qi. Yao Lao's eyes also showed a hint of surprise at this moment. According to his inference, Yang Fan would have to wait at least half a month after taking the key gathering pill before he could feel the existence of Dao Qi. However, this time was shortened to half an hour by Yang Fan. Yao Lao felt that it was necessary to re-examine Yang Fan's talent. "This is Dao Qi." Yang Fan used his consciousness to wrap this wisp of gas around his wrist. Wow. Just a bunch of ordinary blue silver grass has made him feel the existence of Dao Qi on Douluo Continent. What if Tang San was tied up and refined? "Master, if we use the 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor to refine key gathering pills, then can I practice martial arts and fighting skills?" A bold idea emerged in Yang Fan's mind. 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor. Soul beasts of this level are full of treasures, but can we, the master and the disciple, deal with them? 100,000-year-old soul beasts are stronger than titled Douluo on Douluo Continent. He couldn't even deal with titled Douluo, so how could he challenge a 100,000-year-old soul beast? What if this soul beast has no attack ability now? Yao Lao's eyes suddenly lit up. "Do you know where it is?" Yang Fan nodded. There is indeed a 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor on this Douluo Continent. Although they don't know where it is exactly, they can go find it. Chapter 9. I want to learn fighting skills. Night fell. Yang Fan welcomed his first night in the Soul Beast Forest. During this time, he had already processed the body of the flame tiger. There was no soul bone. The only valuable one was left. After the soul beast's part was dried, it could often be used as a medicinal material for alchemy, not to mention the tiger's long whip. Finally, Yang Fan hung the body of the flame tiger high on the tree trunk. The flame tiger is a soul beast with a very strong territoriality. The smell on its body can help it avoid harassment from other soul beasts at night. This night, Yang Fan conducted a detailed analysis of the location of the Blue Silver Emperor in Douluo Continent. 6 years ago, Tang Heo and the Spirit Hall had a conflict because of the 100,000-year soul beast Blue Silver Emperor. The final result was that the Blue Silver Emperor was sacrificed, and the Spirit Hall returned disappointed. At that time, Tang Heo fled to the Holy Soul Village with his family. When the Spirit Hall and the Haoshan sect were at their worst, Tang Heo chose to hide his identity. In addition, at that time, he had a burden like Tang San by his side. so he definitely did not dare to take Yun back to the Soul Beast Forest that belonged to the Blue Silver Emperor. Yang Fan analyzed that the 100,000-year Soul Beast must be near the Holy Soul Village, and it is definitely not too far away. With the Holy Soul Village as the center, a carpet search was conducted with the activity distance of the title Douluo half a day as the radius. Yang Fan did not believe that he could not find the location of the Blue Silver Emperor. Tang Heyo, if you harm my people, then I will fuck your wife. Yang Fan took out a map of the Douluo Continent from a worn-out soul guide. The territory of the Douluo Continent is divided into two empires, Xiandao and Xingluo. Xiandao is in the north and Xingluo is in the south. The Xingdao Great Forest separates the two empires from the middle. Yang Fan's current location is on the outskirts of a Soul Beast Forest, where the territories of the two empires are closest. The Fasno province, where the Holy Soul Village is located in the southwest border of the Xiandao Empire, and the straight line distance from him is about 500 kilometers. Yang Fan decided to pass through this 1000-year Soul Beast area and directly insert it from the back, which would save a lot of time. With a direction in mind, there is strength in action. After Yang Fan established a good plan, he began to sit cross-legged on a relatively flat rock. Summoning martial spirits to start meditation, this way of rest can not only restore his physical strength and replenish his spirit, but also make his spirit power more refined. Diligent spirit masters are often like this. It was just dawn. Yang Fan had already packed up and was ready to go. Wait a minute. Master will give you a gift. Yao Lao suddenly appeared. The slightly raised corners of his mouth made Yang Fan suddenly have a bad premonition. The next moment, Yao Lao suddenly had a huge black iron ruler in his hand. There were some blurred strange lines on the surface. The lines extended to the handle of the ruler and almost permeated all parts of the ruler. With the ancient black color, it looked quite mysterious. Yang Fan recognized this thick black guy. If he wanted to take Zhao Yan, he would carry this ruler and practice all the way to become the Flame Emperor. This black ruler is called Xuantian ruler. It has the magical effect of suppressing Dao Qi. Yao Lao originally planned to wait until Yang Fan became a great spirit master before taking it out, but after Yang Fan sensed the existence of Dao Qi yesterday, he felt that he underestimated this kid. Master, do I still need to suppress my little Dao Qi? Really? Yang Fan felt that the little Dao Qi he had now was nothing. It is because the Dao Qi is weak that it should be tempered. Catch it. Yao Lao waved his hand, and the Xuantian ruler flew in front of Yang Fan. When Yao Lao removed the Dao Qi surrounding the Xuantian ruler, the weight of the Xuantian ruler directly knocked Yang Fan to the ground. The Xuantian ruler pressed heavily on Yang Fan's chest, making his limbs face up, and he couldn't use any strength at all. Yang Fan knew that the weight of the Xuantian ruler was very amazing, and he had used all his strength to prepare to catch it. He still underestimated this weapon. Just the weight of this Xuantian ruler, if it had pressed on the flame tiger yesterday, the beast would have cried for its father. Helpless Yang Fan could only pull his mind, circulate the soul power of his whole body and gather it on his hands, and finally move the Xuantian ruler away from him. When you can walk normally with it on your back, you can practice fighting skills. Yao Lao's words undoubtedly gave Yang Fan great encouragement. Even if he couldn't lift the Xuantian ruler today, he had to carry it hard. After 3 unsuccessful attempts, Yang Fan finally found a way. With his current height of 6 years old, it is definitely impossible to carry the Xuantian ruler diagonally like a knight. The only way to carry it and walk is to do it like a weightlifter. The special strange patterns on the Xuantian ruler can be a good point of support for him. Yang Fan first found 2 large stones that were almost as tall as him and placed them in front of the Xuantian ruler. The 4th attempt began. He first controlled the soul power to gather all on his 10 fingers, and the fingers wrapped in soul power were tightly clasped on the patterns of the Xuantian ruler. I want to learn fighting skills. At this moment, Yang Fan burst out with unprecedented strength. He raised the Xuantian ruler high and smashed it on the 2 stones in front of him. The whole ruler was embedded in the stone in an instant. Yang Fan came under the Xuantian ruler and used the strength of his waist, back and shoulders to slowly lift the Xuantian ruler up. When the power of the Xuantian ruler was fully applied to Yang Fan, he could no longer feel the existence of Dao Qi. What was even more surprising was that the soul energy ball in his body, which was originally the size of a steamed bun, became like a cherry after being suppressed by the Xuantian ruler. The Xuantian ruler can not only suppress Dao Qi, but also has an amazing effect on tempering soul power. Yang Fan took a difficult step forward carrying the Xuantian ruler. Only then did he realize that the sole of his shoe had been embedded in the mud. Grandpa had taught him more than once, soul masters must practice down to earth, step by step. If they use drugs to improve their levels like those noble children, they will only become embroidered pillows in the end. He only wanted to say now, is this footprint clear? Not bad. Yao Lao, who was suspended in the air, nodded with satisfaction. Although the method of carrying the Xuantian ruler was a bit ugly, the final result was still good. From this moment on, Yang Fan's road of hard practice had begun. He never thought that walking alone would be so difficult. Fortunately, Yang Fan started running with weights in the back mountain of Douluo City when he was 3.5 years old. 2.5 years of training gave his body an extraordinary ability to withstand the pressure of carrying weights. In just half a day, he was able to move forward, but this progress was a tortoise's pace. Every few dozen meters, he had to put down the Xuantian ruler to recover his strength. Master, when can we get through this soul beast forest like this? Yang Fan took a deep breath while the Xuantian ruler was on the ground. It's true. In just half a day, he felt that the flow of soul power was accelerating when the Xuantian ruler was put down, but the fighting spirit was still as pitiful as before. Hiking is also a kind of practice. What are you so anxious about here, brat? Yang Fan nodded thoughtfully. Master is right. According to the timeline, he and Tang San are of the same age. Now the Soul Master Academy is still on vacation, and the people of the Spirit Hall are awakening the spirits of the civilians all over the world. I guess Tang San hasn't gone to Notting College yet. Even if he goes to the Holy Soul Village now, he probably won't have anything to do. Chapter 10. Is this Yao Lao's strength? 97, 98, 99, 100. Yang Fan put down the Xuantian ruler on his shoulder and lay on the ground with his arms and legs spread out. 10 days. He has gone from being able to walk only a few steps to being able to barely break 100 now. In these 10 days, he has been practicing with the Xuantian ruler on the periphery of the soul beast forest. During this period, he has not encountered a decent soul beast, which is enough to show how rare the soul beasts in the Stardao Great Forest are. After a period of time, although the growth of fighting spirit is not very obvious, the soul power has been tempered 1,000 times, and he feels that he may be about to upgrade. The feeling is very subtle. He can't describe it in words, as if something is about to come out. Yang Fan sat on a hillside and looked back. The valley where he hunted the flame tiger had long been left behind him. Little guy, there is someone. Yang Fan got up from the ground with a start, and the flame soul breaking spear appeared in his hand almost subconsciously. Although the Xuantian ruler is good, it is still not a weapon for him now. There are about a dozen people on the other side of the hill. Yao Lao was very satisfied with Yang Fan's reaction. Not bad. A cultivator must always be vigilant of his back, especially in this dangerous soul beast forest. Yang Fan climbed up the hillside carefully with the soul-breaking spear in his hand, and looked down to find that a few hundred meters away, there was indeed a group of soul masters wearing the same clothes hunting a soul beast. Is this the soul power of Yao Lao? Exclamation mark. He can detect the presence of soul masters across a mountain, and even sense the number of soul masters. Violent demon bear? Yao Lao's tone was a little surprised, and he obviously knew this kind of soul beast. Master, is there anything special about this soul beast? Yang Fan's understanding of the violent demon bear is limited to that it is a power type soul beast. As for what kind of magical use this soul beast has in the Douluo Continent, it is unknown. This soul beast itself is not special, but the bear bile in its body is a good detoxification product, which is exactly what we need. Yao Lao has always kept the ice and fire yin yang eyes mentioned by Yang Fan in his heart. To deal with the title Douluo who plays with poison, all you need is to prepare enough antidotes. Do you want to experience the battle between strong men? Yao Lao chuckled. What do you want to do? Yao Lao's smile made Yang Fan feel a little flustered. Master will lend you his power. You go down and get the bear gall. Yao Lao knew that if you want to become a real strong man, you must first understand the way the strong fight each other. The earlier this process comes, the better it will be for the Soul Master's future practice. Okay. Yang Fan gradually made up his mind. The soul beasts in the soul beast forest are originally ownerless. Whoever grabs it will own it. Many people even fought in the soul beast forest because of a soul ring that suits them. Ready. Before he could react to what was going on, he felt his body filled with a mysterious force. Although this force was strong, it did not make Yang Fan feel that his body was bursting, but instead made him feel that his body became unusually strong. The next second Yao Lao's account was logged in from another place. Yang Fan extended his right hand, and a ball of white flame appeared in his palm. Is this the bone spirit cold fire? Exclamation mark. This was the first time Yang Fan had seen Yao Lao's strange fire. This ball of flame did not give Yang Fan a burning feeling, but on the contrary it was terribly cold. The moment the flame appeared, the surrounding grass and trees seemed to condense into a layer of ice. Yang Fan originally wanted to use a wave of fighting spirit to transform wings and fly down directly to carry out an inhumane dimensionality reduction attack on the Soul Master below. But he found that he could not use it. Stinky boy, stop playing. The gall of the violent demon bear can only have the best detoxification effect when it is taken out. When it is alive. Yao Lao's reminder made Yang Fan come to his senses. This can't be blamed on him. The first time he logged into Yao Lao's account, he always had to familiarize himself with the account content first. Before taking action, Yang Fan took out a piece of rag from the soul guide to cover his ugly and handsome face. The next second, he sucked hard with his palm, and the Xuantian ruler that had just exhausted him seemed to have become a toy. He wrapped his breath with fighting spirit and then went down the mountain from the flank. As they got closer, Yang Fan could see the path of the dozen soul masters. 10 students were wearing black uniforms, and the remaining 5 teachers stood in different positions of the violent monster. While protecting the students, they could also prevent the soul beast, which was less than 500 years old, from escaping. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that these were teachers from the Soul Master Academy who were using their vacation time to help students hunt soul rings. The leader was a woman in black clothes. Her mature and plump figure could not be concealed under her clothes, and there was a bit of heroism between her delicate eyebrows. Although she was far away, Yang Fan still recognized the leading woman. It was Liu Long, the principal of Lanbei Academy. The leader is actually a great beauty. Yao Lao's voice came from the bottom of Yang Fan's heart. Master, your saliva is dripping into my heart. Stinky boy, are you making fun of the master? Get down to business. Yang Fan's expression slightly straightened, and his eyes were fixed on Liu Long, ready to give her a blow. Just when the teachers of Blue Tyrant Academy were about to ask the academy to get rid of the violent demon bear, Yang Fan rushed out from the flank carrying the Xuantian ruler. In a flash, Yang Fan had already flashed in front of the violent demon bear. He smashed the Xuantian ruler in his hand to the ground, and the overflowing airwave instantly repelled several Soul King level teachers. The sudden change made the faces of the teachers and students of Blue Tyrant Academy suddenly change. A female dragon instantly ran away. Where did this bastard come from? Liu Erlang was famous for her temper. Usually, she was the only one who snatched other people's soul rings in the Soul Beast Forest. Without saying a word, Yang Fan held the Xuantian ruler in his hand and raised it. The fierce fighting spirit came out from the ruler, and it hit Liu Erlang's crossed arms like a white crescent. Just a brief fight made Liu Erlang see that the Soul Master in front of him was not simple. He was not big, but he was very powerful. The next second, a fiery red dragon shadow appeared behind Liu Erlang. Starting from Soul Master, every time a blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex Soul Master is promoted to a high level, a part of his body will be transformed into a dragon. Although Liu Erlang's martial soul has mutated, she has inherited the dragonization of the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul very well. When the 7 soul rings appeared, Liu Erlang's limbs became dragonized. Her arms became dragon claws, and her legs became dragon feet. A good woman now looked ferocious and terrifying. The first 2 soul rings under Liu Erlang's feet suddenly lit up. Although the release of soul skills was not seen, Liu Erlang's momentum could be seen with the naked eye. The dragon scales covering her arms formed arm armor. Then she threw a fierce punch. The fist force gushed out with fiery red soul power, forming a fiery red dragon head on the path. It looked very bluffing. Facing the Soul Saint's powerful punch, Yang Fan did not choose to retreat. He circulated the fighting spirit in his body and condensed it on the Xuantian ruler and chopped down at Liu Erlang in front of him. The two waves collided on the path, and the waves generated were crushing each other in the air, breaking trees as thick as thighs, and splashing sand and stones. Yang Fan saw with his own eyes that Liu Erlang took a few steps back before stopping, and he did not move at all. Is this the strength of Yao Lao? Exclamation mark. Even though he did not have a soul skill, he still shook back the Soul Saint level Liu Erlang. Chapter 11. Fighting spirit transforms into wings. Liu Erlang's body flashed with fire, and the 7th soul ring under her feet suddenly lit up. Her skin was covered with hard scales at this moment, and a terrifying dragon roar echoed in the air. Liu Erlang under the martial soul's true body has completely transformed into a dragon. The original beautiful woman disappeared, replaced by a giant dragon burning with blazing flames. The next moment, the huge fire dragon spread its wings and pounced towards Yang Fan, and its sharp dragon claws flashed cold light in the fire. Boom. Energy surged in Yang Fan's palm, and a ball of white flame rose slowly. The flame was not big. In Yang Fan's palm, it was only more than a foot high, but the cold breath that burst out instantly lowered the surrounding hot air. Facing the fierce dragon, Yang Fan raised his hand and slapped a ball of white flame out. Boom. Liu Erlang's flame was as powerful as a rainbow, but after hitting the bone spirit cold fire, it could no longer burn. The cold breath made her feel like she fell into an ice cave. Liu Erlang's expression changed because of the bone spirit cold fire. At this moment, a young man with wine red hair rushed out from the side. The boy looked about 12 or 13 years old, less than 1.7 meters tall, but the lines of his muscles were particularly obvious. His target was not Yang Fan, but the violent demon bear next to him, that was already dying. Tai Long? Exclamation mark. This boy, who was a few years older than him, was the grandson of Titan, the Power Clan. Although the Haitian sect abandoned the 4 major sects, they did not break off contact with each other, but always looked after each other, so they would have a meeting every 2 years. The last time the two met was at the gathering of the 4 major sects 2 years ago. At that time, Tai Long, who had awakened the powerful gorilla, released his martial spirit and showed off to them. When acquaintances meet, they kick each other. Yang Fan raised his leg and kicked Tai Long to the ground, and he rolled and crawled several meters away. Don't fight, brat. This violent demon bear is about to die. Take it and run. Yang Fan looked at the violent demon bear, then looked at Liu Erlang. The next second, he dragged the bear and started running in a direction he had previously favored. Although he was only the height of a 6-year-old child, after possessing the strength of Yao Lao, this 2-meter tall violent demon bear was like a plush toy in his hands. Don't run. Seeing Liu Erlang, unwilling to be intercepted, spread his wings and chased after him, Yang Fan had to speed up again. While running, his body began to change, and the way his fighting spirit operated seemed to have changed slightly. Suddenly, a very firm voice appeared in his heart. He can fly. This is a kind of wonder that cannot be described in words. Just like a moment when a person suddenly learns to swim, or suddenly learns to ride a bicycle. Yang Fan condensed the fighting spirit on his body behind him. Puff, a pair of white wings condensed by fighting spirit appeared behind him, and just one flap made him soar up to 50 meters. Fighting spirit into wings. In the Douluo system, this is an ability that can only be displayed after reaching Dao Wang, and it is also the watershed between Dao masters. Yao Lao, who has never taken action, also needs to re-examine his strength in the Douluo Continent. Woohoo! Yang Fan flapped his wings and flew into the sky. After seeing that Liu Erlang did not chase him, he felt even more relaxed. This feeling of flying is really wonderful, and it also strengthened Yang Fan's belief in learning Dao skills from Yao Lao. I really like this kind of pleasure of soaring between heaven and earth. Don't fall into my hands next time. Liu Erlang could have continued to chase, but she gave up. If she chased after him, what if these teachers and students encountered soul beasts? The ice and fire released by the dwarf soul master just now made her feel like she was swallowed by the cold under her martial soul. It is not certain that she can beat them if she really chases after them. Dean, are you okay? Several teachers from Lanba Academy hurriedly chased after them with their students. It's okay, let's go. This time, I must ask about the dwarf soul masters on Douluo Continent. Why didn't she remember such a powerful one? Dean, what exactly was that white flame just now? Liu Erlang didn't know, but she was sure that it was definitely not a martial soul. Although the soul beast was intercepted, the teachers and students of Lanba Academy were a little frustrated, but it did not affect their continued progress. Only Telang had a gloomy face. The violent demon bear just now was originally his second soul ring. This time, Dean Erlang took advantage of the holiday to lead civilian soul masters to hunt soul rings, and he also came to fit in. Before coming, Grandpa told him not to absorb unless there was a very suitable soul ring, and wait for the family to help him hunt. It was not easy to get lucky and meet a pure power soul beast suitable for his age, but it was intercepted before he even touched it. A few kilometers away, Yang Fan successfully exited Yao Lao's high-end account. Master, this violent demon bear seems to be dead. Yao Lao floated out of Yang Fan's body, looked at the violent demon bear on the ground and said, it doesn't matter. The gall of the demon bear that just died doesn't have much effect on the efficacy of the detoxification medicine. Is the battle between the strong enjoyable? Compared with a bear gall, Yao Lao is more concerned about Yang Fan's experience and understanding of Daoqi. Not bad. If Yao Lao was to do it himself, he would probably be able to knock Liu Erlang down with one move. You don't have to be discouraged. Without any skills and fighting skills, you have done a good job in suppressing the soul saint who opened the martial soul true body. Yao Lao did not expect that Yang Fan could use Daoqi to transform wings when escaping. Yang Fan looked at the Xuantian ruler stuck in the ground and took the initiative to walk over. He took a deep breath and urged the weak Daoqi in his body to pull out the Xuantian ruler. The first time he used Daoqi to lift the Xuantian ruler, Yang Fan instantly dreamed back to 10 days ago. The one who was shaking every 3 steps. Good boy. Yao Lao smiled with satisfaction. The battle between the strong not only did not hit Yang Fan's self-confidence, but also made him more eager to pursue fighting skills. This is exactly what Yao Lao wanted to see. Master, what herbs or soul beasts can be found on Douluo Continent that can repair the soul? Yang Fan asked as he walked. Master has not found it yet. This is actually the first time he has left Yunluo City since he came to this strange world. 10 days ago was also the first time he saw a lively soul beast on Douluo Continent. Then you must tell me when you see it, and your apprentice will find a way to get it for you. You are thoughtful. From this day on, Yang Fan began his process of tempering his fighting spirit. Going to the Holy Soul Village seemed less urgent in his heart. As long as he went in the right direction, he could always reach his destination before the end of the holiday. Chapter 12. Xuanti Fighting Skills. The Sea of Stars flows, and the years become monuments. A month has passed since Yang Fan came out of the Soul Beast Forest. In this month, his soul power has been successfully promoted to level 14. Yang Fan did not have much feeling, but Yao Lao was very satisfied. Under the premise of being suppressed by the Xuantian ruler, the improvement of strength is definitely far more than that. The most obvious change in Yang Fan is the fighting spirit. A month of practice has turned his initial weak breath into a clear airflow. Yao Lao said that his current strength can barely reach the 3rd stage of fighting spirit. It is really the 3rd stage of fighting spirit. After leaving the Soul Beast Forest and walking about dozens of kilometers, you can see a row of houses connected to each other. A series of artificially paved simple paths pass through, and various shouts rise and fall in the crowd. This place looks like a lively market, which is particularly abrupt in the wilderness. Some of them sell weapons, some sell food without giving it to them, and some shout in the channel, like in the game, asking for a team. Everyone here serves those soul masters who have reached the bottleneck period and need to obtain soul rings. When Yang Fan appeared with the Xuantian ruler on his back, he attracted so many eyes. Everyone's eyes revealed a look of surprise. Yang Fan could see that this group of people must have called him a fool in their hearts. He didn't care. Cultivation is not bad. As a member of the Poe clan, Yang Fan almost subconsciously came to a stall selling wound medicine after seeing this scene. "Little friend, do you want to buy wound medicine?" The stall owner did not refuse Yang Fan because of his age. Being able to carry such a big lump to the outskirts of the Soul Beast Forest proved that this child was not simple. Although the clothes on his body were not suitable for a famous family, he could also be considered a Soul Master family. Yang Fan scanned the stalls. These wound medicines are very common in the Poe clan. He can tell the name, efficacy, and even the medicinal materials used for each one. At this time, a kind of medicine powder in front of the stall owner caught Yang Fan's attention. The medicine powder is milky white, and it is more delicate than the ones next to it. This is called blood coagulation powder. It is a new healing medicine that was just launched a few days ago. Applying it to the wound can stop bleeding immediately. If you are entering the Soul Beast Forest with adults, buying a bottle is definitely a good idea. Blood coagulation powder? Exclamation mark. Yang Fan approached and smelled it. It was definitely made by his grandfather. When he left the Poe clan, Yao Lao left a recipe for blood coagulation powder for the family. It is almost exactly the same as the formula of the blood coagulation powder in front of him. If you add powder, you can still smell the special smell of the Poe clan's medicine. "Uncle, I want to buy a bottle." Seeing Yang Fan's straightforwardness, the stall owner smiled and took out a white medicine bottle filled with blood coagulation powder from under the stall. 5 gold soul coins. Yang Fan frowned slightly and still took out 5 gold soul coins from the storage soul guide. It's a bit expensive. With his grandfather's character, such a small bottle can only be sold for 1 gold soul coin at most. But when he saw the blood coagulation powder, Yang Fan felt much more at ease. After he left the Poe clan, he had been worried that his grandfather could not make the blood coagulation powder. Yao Lao was not lying to him. This kind of blood coagulation powder was indeed easy to refine. It only took more than a month to appear on the outskirts of the Soul Beast Forest. I hope that the blood coagulation powder can make the life of the Poe clan better. Night fell. Yang Fan found a cheap hotel in the town to stay. He had been practicing on the outskirts of the Soul Beast Forest for a long time. He had not taken a shower for a long time. He took off his clothes and was about to open his back with the foundation building spirit liquid when Yao Lao suddenly appeared behind him. His eyes were shining. "Let me see the blood coagulation powder." Yao Lao took it. His smiling face suddenly changed dramatically. "It's okay. Although the effect of blood coagulation and healing is a bit worse, it is much better than other therapeutic drugs on the market. The target audience of blood coagulation powder is those idle soul masters who do not have a big sect or a big family as a backer." Yao Lao studied this pill recipe mainly to make Yang Fan more focused when he went out to practice. "Take off your clothes and jump in." Yang Fan had been practicing in the Soul Beast Forest for a month without the foundation building spirit liquid for body refining. Yao Lao changed the previous 2 drops to 6 drops this time. First, Yang Fan's entity had been qualitatively improved, and second, the hard training during this period of time had tempered Yang Fan's body like a huge vortex that urgently needed to absorb energy. The foundation building spirit liquid dripped into the bathtub, and the warm and soft feeling instantly wrapped Yang Fan. Comfortable. Yang Fan lay in the bathtub, feeling that all the women in the continent had been here. His body was like a bottomless pit, constantly absorbing the energy in the bathtub, while being moisturized by the foundation building spirit liquid. The soul power and fighting spirit in his body were constantly changing. Yang Fan spread his hands, fighting spirit in his left hand and soul power in his right hand. "Not bad. Now you have the foundation for learning fighting skills." Yao Lao hung in the room with a satisfied smile on his face. "Really? Master, teach me." If it weren't for the fact that there was still foundation building spirit liquid in the bathtub that had not been absorbed, Yang Fan would have jumped out at this time. Since Yao Lao appeared 2 years ago, he had the conviction to learn fighting skills. 2 years of bodybuilding, martial soul awakening, and hard training in the forest. All of this was to make himself stronger. especially when he used Yao Lao's experience card and Sword in the Sky. That thought was like a mental stamp on his nerve center. Want to learn? Then let the master see your performance. Yao Lao's mouth showed a playful smile. Master, stop it. The next moment, an ancient scroll appeared in Yao Lao's palm. The surface of the scroll was a dull brown yellow, with traces of time on it. Under the drag of fighting spirit, it floated to Yang Fan. He opened it with both hands, and then slowly opened it. Chasing stars and blazing fire, Xuan level low level fighting skills, practiced to perfection to split mountains and crack the earth. Splitting mountains and cracking the earth? This is talking about such a terrifying Daozang, right? Exclamation mark. The top of the scroll is a text introduction to fighting skills, and the bottom is about the training methods of fighting skills. This is a low-level Xuan level spear fighting skill, which is very suitable for a fire attribute practitioner like you. Yao Lao said. Master, you should have a better fighting skill, right? The low-level Xuan level is naturally not bad, but Yang Fan always maintains a heart that pursues beauty. Greed is insatiable. The higher the price of the fighting skill, the more fighting spirit it consumes. With your strength of the third stage of fighting spirit, a low-level Xuan level fighting skill is enough to drain the fighting spirit from you then. Yao Lao scolded him like a dog. Chapter 13 Blue Silver Emperor. Tang Hao is always absent. It was just dawn. Yang Fan left the town quietly with the Xuantian ruler on his back. After coming out of the Soul Beast Forest, he was already in the Fasno province within the Xiandao Empire. From the map, his current location was less than 300 kilometers away from the Holy Soul Village. Along the way, Yang Fan not only carried the Xuantian ruler to temper his fighting spirit and soul power, but also took advantage of the rest to find a deserted place to practice the first fighting skill taught to him by Yao Lao, the star chasing fire. His soul power surged, and the tip of the gun began to burn. He attached the fighting spirit to the gun body, and with a thunderous strike, the tip of the gun sprayed flames and hit the huge rock 10 meters away, causing an explosion. The rock was instantly split in half, with an obvious crack in the middle, and a blazing flame about 1 meter wide was left on the path. Yang Fan's biggest feeling was that his body was hollowed out after using the low-level Xuan level fighting skills. Yao Lao was right. The release of a low-level Xuan level fighting skill can instantly drain the fighting spirit in his body. It will take at least 10 minutes for him to restore the released fighting spirit to its best state. Not to mention more than 10 minutes. The victory or defeat of a pact between soul masters is just a matter of thought. The most effective way to solve the problem of insufficient fighting spirit is to practice the technique. However, fighting masters are different from soul masters. If you want to practice the technique, you first need to condense the fighting spirit to become a fighter. This is the prerequisite for practicing the technique. Yang Fan once asked Yao Lao, what level is a 1-star fighter equivalent to a soul master? Yao Lao's answer is very simple, above soul venerable, but not soul sect. Just barely. Take a break, let's continue. Yang Fan's comprehension is very good, but the power is a little lacking. Yao Lao knew that this was not Yang Fan's fault. After all, the fighting spirit on the Douluo Continent is far inferior to the fighting spirit continent, and here it is more about soul power. Master, tell me about the technique. Yang Fan rested enough and continued to move forward with the Xuantian ruler. After the fighting spirit was restored, he practiced chasing stars and plundering fire. Walking and stopping along the way, his strength was also subtly improving. 5 days later, a village of hundreds of people appeared in front of Yang Fan. According to the map, this should be the Holy Soul Village. When they arrived at the entrance of the village, the handprint that was photographed by the Soul Saint suddenly appeared. At this time, the energetic old Jack came over with his hands behind his back, humming a folk song that he didn't know where he learned, and he looked in a good mood. Grandpa, ask if Tang Dachu is at home. Tang Hao's strength should not be underestimated. Back then, so many people from the spirit hall surrounded him, but they didn't kill this bastard. Although Tang Hao was injured in a battle a few years ago, his current strength is not something that the master and apprentice can deal with. If they want to deal with the Blue Silver Emperor, they must take advantage of the time when Tang Hao is not around. Tang Dachu? Old Jack was confused at first, then suddenly realized, and finally said angrily with a gloomy old face, "Dead." Old Jack saw Yang Fan with a lot of question marks on his head, and then explained, "I don't know where he died. He hasn't been in the village for a while recently. If you want to make farm tools, go 5 miles west and find Wang the blacksmith." "Thank you, Grandpa." Before leaving, Yang Fan did not forget to inquire about the location of Tang Heo's home. A month has passed since the annual martial spirit awakening ceremony. According to the current time node, all spirit master academies have started classes, and Tang San must have entered not in college. According to the original work, Tang Heo visited Tang San in the first semester. It should be now. Yang Fan's analysis of the location of the Blue Silver Emperor has also been further deepened. He remembered that the original work mentioned that Tang Heo buried the Blue Silver Emperor in the mountains, surrounded by mountains, after escaping to the Holy Spirit village. There was a huge waterfall there, and the Blue Silver Emperor was hidden behind the waterfall. With these information intertwined, it was not difficult to find the Blue Silver Emperor. Yang Fan first went to Tang Heo's doorstep and took a look around. After confirming that Tang Heo had not returned for many days, he began to take action. The first step is to confirm the mountains surrounded by mountains. This is not difficult, because there is only one mountain that meets the conditions near the Holy Spirit village. Then find a huge waterfall inside the mountain. The formation of a waterfall is always inseparable from rivers and steep terrain. So if you want to find a waterfall, the first thing to do is to find a river that meets the conditions and then go downstream. Yang Fan got the result in just 2 days, based on the conditions. The speed of the river flow continued to accelerate, and there were faint roaring sounds in my ears. As I got closer, the roaring sound became clearer and clearer, and the air around me became more humid. A few minutes later, Yang Fan stopped at a cliff and looked down. The cliff was more than 200 meters long, and there was a pool of water below. The river water continued to pour into the pool along the nearly 200-meter cliff, stirring up waves of white water. This should be it. Everything around was perfectly in line with the information Yang Fan had. Yao Lao, who heard the sound of the waterfall, also floated out of Yang Fan's body and looked at the scene in front of him. It's really a good place to practice. If it weren't for the plan to kill the legendary 100,000-year-old soul beast Blue Silver Emperor, he really wanted Yang Fan to complete the next stage of practice here. Yang Fan looked at the steep rock wall and was at a loss for a moment. The surrounding rocks were constantly washed by the water flow and had become extremely slippery, making it difficult to land on them. The impact of the huge water flow made it impossible for people to stay on the rock wall for even a second. Yang Fan finally understood why Tang Heo placed the Blue Silver Emperor in this place. Let's not talk about whether the cave behind can be discovered. Even if it is really discovered, it is not something that ordinary soul masters can covet. Look at Master. Yao Lao floated in front of the waterfall and held the Xuantian ruler in his hand with a move of his virtual hand. The white fighting spirit covered the huge ruler and then slashed it horizontally. Yang Fan did not see how much strength Yao Lao used, but the silent light waves emitted from the ruler directly cut the waterfall in half. This is the flame-devouring wave ruler. Yang Fan was stunned for a moment, and the river water stagnated, revealing the true appearance of the rock wall. The rock wall looks no different from an ordinary mountain, but how can it escape Yao Lao's soul exploration? Yao Lao waved his left hand, and the fighting spirit that seemed to be substantial hit the rock wall. A piece of stone that seemed to be tightly fitted actually sank into it, and a door appeared. Seeing this scene, Yang Fan could no longer remain calm. Blue Silver Emperor. Inside this cave is the 100,000-year-old soul beast Blue Silver Emperor. Yang Fan took a deep breath and jumped directly from the cliff. He turned around with the soul-breaking spear in his hand and stabbed it hard at the rock wall. He did not have the ability of Yao Lao's Dao Ki to transform into wings, so he could only rely on the powerful attack of the soul-breaking spear to make himself go down little by little. Insert, pull out, insert again, and pull out again. After several times, Yang Fan had already arrived at this deep cave. New book, please collect, please read. Chapter 14 Blue Silver Emperor obtained. This is a cave about 3 meters high and 2 meters wide, and it is wet inside. Yang Fan lit the tip of his gun to illuminate the way forward. The cave is less than 10 meters deep. When you walk to the innermost part, you will see a stone chamber. A beam of light shines down from the top of the cave wall. This is the Blue Silver Emperor. The only light in the stone chamber just happened to be focused on the Blue Silver Emperor, which was particularly conspicuous. At a glance, Yang Fan could tell the difference between the Blue Silver Emperor and ordinary blue silver grass. The thinner leaves were covered with strange golden lines. Not simple. There is such a fairy grass on this continent. The knowledgeable Yao Lao couldn't help but sigh repeatedly, with a sharp light flashing in his eyes. The Blue Silver Emperor, which sensed that an outsider had entered, moved without wind, and its thin leaves swayed wildly. Master, dig. Yang Fan had no sympathy for the Blue Silver Emperor. Even the moment he saw it, the scene of the Puyi clan moving their entire family emerged in his mind. Master, come. Yao Lao got close to the ground and used gentle fighting spirit to dig up the soil next to the Blue Silver Emperor bit by bit, then released his soul power to cover the Blue Silver Emperor and finally slowly put it into the ring. The whole process was like treating a gentle gem. This kind of fairy grass has its own spiritual consciousness, and it must be controlled by its own soul power, otherwise its resistance will be too strong. Even if it cannot commit suicide, the effect of the elixir it makes will be compromised. Yang Fan nodded thoughtfully. This Blue Silver Emperor fell into Yao Lao's hands, and he could quickly condense the fighting spirit cyclone. Silly boy, there are good things waiting for you on the rock wall next to it. Yao Lao's reminder made Yang Fan suddenly wake up from the chaos, and he had guessed what it was from Yao Lao's expression. He couldn't wait to use the soul-breaking gun to carefully dig the wall next to him. The moment he pried open the wall, a metal box about half a meter long appeared. Yang Fan held the metal box in his arms and blew away the dust on it to see the strange patterns on the box. Yang Fan was extremely cautious at this moment. As soon as the box opened a crack, the energy inside overflowed, and the airflow generated swirled out, making Yang Fan feel a strong thrust. After the metal box was opened, what lay inside was the Blue Silver Emperor soul bone that he had been thinking about. The Blue Silver Emperor soul bone was a crystal clear blue gold color, and there seemed to be a little starlight flashing inside. Soul bones are different from soul rings. There is no limit to their level and age when they are absorbed. Theoretically, even if you have just awakened the innate first level soul power, you can absorb 100,000 years of soul bones. Master, let's leave quickly. The goal has been achieved. Neither the absorption of soul bones nor the disposal of the Blue Silver Emperor is urgent at this moment. The most urgent task is to leave this mountain as soon as possible. How slow it is to come, how fast it will be to return. In less than 2 hours, Yang Fan has arrived at the border of Fasno province. Yang Fan used a silver soul coin to find a small hotel in the town to stay. He waited until he confirmed that the surroundings were safe before he took out the soul bone in the soul guide. 100,000 years of soul bone. Not to mention the Puyi clan. Even the 7 major sects on the Douluo Continent may not have seen it, let alone absorbed it. Yang Fan just put his hand on the soul bone and felt a strange energy flow. Master, can the soul bone be refined? Yang Fan asked. Of course. Yao Lao didn't dare to say it before because he had never seen a soul bone. It was not until he saw it that he knew that soul bones were called magic cores in his world. Soul bones can be said to be the soul core of soul beasts. After death, the magic beasts with magic cores will gather part of their energy into the magic core. The same is true for soul beasts. The only difference is that after the soul beast gathers energy, it will become the most characteristic thing in life. For example, the spirit type soul beasts are mostly the head, the strength type are mostly the arms, the speed type are mostly the legs, and the comprehensive strength is strong in the trunk bone. This is the soul bone. Soul beasts without soul cores naturally cannot produce soul bones after death. The reason why 100,000 year soul beasts can produce soul bones 100% is because soul beasts will form soul cores after reaching 100,000 years. Soul bones are at most the carriers of this energy. After absorbing it, soul masters can gain strength and soul bone skills. Master, thank you for your hard work. Yang Fan offered the soul bone with both hands. This soul bone will definitely be more valuable in Yao Lao's hands than it is now. Then let's make a deal in advance. If this soul bone is refined into an elixir, it will not provide you with soul bone skills. Although Yao Lao did not understand the principle of soul bones being able to provide soul skills, he knew the effect of elixirs. Thank you, Master. Yang Fan knew that Yao Lao would never harm him. The quality of soul bones for soul masters mainly depends on how early they are absorbed and whether the attributes match. This is because soul bones have very amazing growth potential, so the earlier you absorb soul bones, the longer it will take to evolve. Although soul bones refined into elixirs will not provide him with soul bone skills, this is not a bad thing. Soul rings are different from soul bones. Although soul rings also enhance the attributes of the soul master itself, their main function is after all on the accompanying soul skills. Soul bones are just the opposite. The soul bones attribute enhancement to the soul master itself is far from comparable to the soul ring. Perhaps they will not provide the soul master with one or more powerful soul bone skills, but they will definitely make up for it in terms of improving the soul master's attributes. If Yang Fan really has to choose, he will definitely choose the latter without hesitation. Don't worry, Master will never let you down. Yao Lao put the blue silver emperor and the soul bone into the ring. These two things are definitely not ordinary products. If he wants to refine them into elixirs that match Yang Fan, he still needs to study them carefully. Nothing happened overnight. The next day, Yang Fan left the town and left with the Xuantian ruler on his back. He embarked on his path of cultivation. His destination this time is Xiandao City, where there is a yin-yang eye of ice and fire waiting for him. According to the achievements of the Shrek 7 Devils in the original book, the help of immortal herbs to soul masters is far greater than that of soul bones. He must get the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. After the experience of digging the blue silver emperor, Yang Fan has an inexplicable confidence in finding the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Yin-yang fire eyes are located in the sunset forest, surrounded by hills about 500 meters high. The terrain is dangerous, and it is difficult for ordinary people to enter the yin-yang fire eyes in the valley. Outside the hills, there is a poison barrier released by Douluo. The original book also mentioned that after Tang San was kidnapped by Douluo, Flanders and Yu Xiaogang searched for a whole day with a burden. This means that yin-yang fire eyes are not far from Xiandao City. Starting from Xiandao City and entering the sunset forest, first find the poison barrier, then lock onto the hill about 500 meters high and enter the yin-yang fire eyes. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, Blue Silver Emperor Alchemy. After 10 days, Yang Fan finally saw the most prosperous city in the Douluo Continent. Xiandao City. The granite walls as high as 100 meters stood in front of him. The soldiers patrolling and standing guard were all in full armor. The flow of soul power could be felt from them, but it was not strong. The streets were wide and clean, with many shops and a constant stream of people. Every aspect showed the style of the capital of the country. It was night when Yang Fan came to the city. He found a bamboo forest in the suburbs that was not visited by many people. Although he was the young master of the Pou clan, his life was also tight. The reason was that the suppression of the Wuhan Hall made the Pou clan's elixir business not very prosperous. 2 months of hard training had already spent most of his money, and he needed to keep some to buy medicinal materials. Now it was the same for him to live anywhere. After the awakening of the Wuhan, he had gradually gotten used to the way of practicing cross-legged overnight. Yao Lao held the blue silver emperor he had dug up not long ago in his palm, and suddenly said, "Little guy, I'm ready to start." High-end ingredients often only require the simplest cooking methods. This 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor is a natural treasure, so there is no need to add any other herbs, except the soul bone, to reduce the efficacy of the elixir. "Master, what can I do?" This was Yang Fan's first time, and he became nervous before he even started. "Help Master protect the law." Yang Fan knew that Yao Lao might not need it at all, but he still gave him a dispensable job. The next second, a medicine cauldron suddenly appeared in Yao Lao's hand. The medicine cauldron was pitch black, and its body was quite sturdy. It exuded a calm aura from head to toe. The cauldron was covered with strange flame patterns, and it looked like it was burning. Master, this is the Black Demon Cauldron. The Black Demon Cauldron ranked 8th on the Xuantian list in the Douluo Continent, and it can be called an alchemy artifact. Yes, this is the Black Demon Cauldron that Master told you about before. Yao Lao had never used this Black Demon Cauldron before. Even the key gathering pills he had made before were just played with by using the strange fire in his palm. But this time, the 100,000-year-old Blue Silver Emperor was different from the past. Yao Lao waved his hand, and a great amount of fighting spirit gushed out. The white strange fire in his palm surged, burning the Black Demon Cauldron hanging in the air. The Blue Silver Emperor might have realized its fate. Its slender branches and leaves began to swing wildly, trying to escape its fate. But it was useless. The moment it was dug out, the gears of fate had already begun to turn. The next moment, Yao Lao threw it into the Black Demon Cauldron, and a few minutes later, the right leg bone of the Blue Silver Emperor was also thrown in. Yang Fan stared at it intently the whole time. He really wanted to learn. The more he knew he was not qualified, the stronger this idea became. About 2 hours later, Yang Fan could clearly feel the faint medicinal fragrance in the furnace. At the same time, the situation around him was not right. The sky outside became extremely dark, and a dark object enveloped the sky above Xiandao City. Danlei. Even though Yang Fan had never seen the world, he knew what was going to happen next. Danlei is a necessary test when the high-level elixir is refined. From the 7th grade, the elixir will gradually have spiritual intelligence. This level of elixir can be regarded as a divine object that can seize the fortune of heaven and earth, so heaven and earth will send down thunder to prevent the elixir from being refined. This is Danlei. Although Yao Lao helped him refine a high-grade elixir, Yang Fan was not happy at all. The power of Danlei was so great that even Dao Huang did not dare to greet it, and he did not have the ability to become stronger by being struck by lightning. Boom, boom. Danlei pushed away the clouds and mist to reveal its grandeur. The originally dim Xiandao city was suddenly illuminated at this moment, and with a loud whoosh, Danlei fell from the clouds and mist. At this moment, a flash of white light passed by. Yao Lao's soul appeared above the bamboo forest, with his arms open and his body spinning. At this moment, the bone spirit cold fire actually turned into a layer of substantial defense. Boom. Lightning as thick as a bucket struck Yao Lao's soul, and the sound of the explosion seemed to tear the entire sky apart. The airwave generated by the collision in midair swept down, and even if Yang Fan released his martial spirit in advance, he still felt that all the bones in his body were about to be crushed. In an instant, the entire bamboo forest became a mess. When Yang Fan recovered, Yao Lao was already hanging in front of him. Master. Although Yao Lao was in a soul state, Yang Fan could see that he was not in a good state at the moment. It was Danlei after all. Master, it's okay. This Danlei is not as strong as imagined. Yao Lao smiled and spread his palm. A sky blue pill slowly rose from his palm. The pill was the size of a marble, and the surface was wrapped in irregular golden lines, which sparkled particularly under the moonlight. Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill, ranked 6th grade. Yao Lao's fatigue seemed to be swept away at this moment. Thank you, Master. After receiving it, Yang Fan did not eat it in a hurry, but asked his own question. Master, didn't you say that only 7th grade pills can attract pill thunder? Yes, I still remember what Master taught you. You are right. Pill thunder is indeed a symbol of 7th grade pills, because pills will have spiritual intelligence after reaching the 7th grade, which is the key to attracting pill thunder. Although this Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill is not at the 7th grade, it already has spiritual intelligence, so it attracted a small pill thunder. It was because the Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill was ranked 6th grade that he was able to catch the pill thunder smoothly. Of course, there is another reason for being able to catch the pill thunder, that is, this place is called Douluo Continent. In this world, the power of pill thunder is much weaker. Silly boy, we are leaving here. Yang Fan understood. Making such a big noise will inevitably attract other people's attention. This is Xiandao City, the capital of the Xiandao Empire, a place where title Douluo may appear at any time. Yang Fan packed up and fled towards the center of the city. The Spirit Temple. Seraph, wearing a 5-pointed platinum crown, was looking at the direction where the pill thunder fell. Follow me. His intuition told him that a strong man had come to Xiandao City. His identity is unknown. As the master of the spirit temple of Xiandao City, he must always pay attention to the movements of the entire Xiandao City. When Seraph arrived with several soul saints from the spirit temple, there was no clue except the burnt bamboo forest. Chapter 16 Changes brought by the pill. In an ordinary small hotel in the center of Xiandao City, the next moment is the most important moment in Yang Fan's life, because he is going to eat the Blue Emperor Soul Bone pill in front of him. This is made from the 100,000-year-old Blue Silver Emperor and the right leg soul bone. The effect is what he is looking forward to. Yang Fan took a deep breath and adjusted his body to the best state. The pill went into his throat. At first, he didn't feel anything, just like the taste of the blue silver grass he always held in his mouth. After practicing in the back mountain of Douluo City, after less than 2 minutes, a cold feeling exploded in his body. Although the Blue Emperor Soul Bone pill was made from the 100,000-year-old Blue Silver Emperor and the 100,000-year-old Soul Bone, it did not give him the bloating feeling brought by absorbing soul rings, but it was very comfortable. Yang Fan felt that most of this cold breath was constantly pouring into the soul power aura in his body, and a small part was merged into the Dao Qi aura. The biggest feeling was that his soul power was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and in just a few minutes, he had reached a bottleneck. If I remember correctly, the last time he felt like absorbing a spirit ring was 2 months ago. Although his spirit power level had reached level 19, the huge energy brought by the Blue Silver Emperor showed no sign of stopping. After about 10 minutes, the coldness gradually turned from weak to nothingness and disappeared into the 2 air masses in his body. Yang Fan could clearly sense that he had become a quasi-great spirit master, but it was hard to say to what extent. But the next second, Yao Lao gave the answer: not bad, not bad. After obtaining the spirit ring, your spirit power can almost reach level 25. Yao Lao nodded with satisfaction. Ah, only level 25. Tang San absorbed the right leg bone of the Blue Silver Emperor and improved it by 3 levels, which was the level of the Soul King. He gave up the 200,000-year spirit bone skills attached to the Blue Silver Emperor and refined the Blue Silver Emperor into elixirs to reach level 25. Be careful of your unstable foundation if you are greedy. The whip-like Dao Qi hit Yang Fan's head. This Blue Emperor Soul Bone pill can run through your entire Soul Master career, so that you can always be ahead of Soul Masters of the same level in your future cultivation. This Blue Emperor Soul Bone pill can indeed bring more level upgrades to Yang Fan, but Yao Lao did not do so. He was thinking about Yang Fan's future. Feel the Dao Qi in your body. Yao Lao, who was hanging in the room, showed a proud expression on his face. Thank you, Master. Yang Fan could clearly feel that the speed of Dao Qi circulation had increased visibly with the naked eye. The Dao Qi ball in his body was obviously larger than before, and it seemed to have reached the 9th stage of Dao Qi. What else did you feel? Yang Fan used his weak soul power to explore bit by bit. Release the Dao Qi and feel it with your heart. Yang Fan followed Yao Lao's guidance all the way and finally noticed the biggest change in his body. Woodward attribute. At this moment, Yang Fan was so excited that he even squeezed out a few drops of urine. Not bad. After absorbing the elixir refined by the plant-based Blue Silver Emperor, a trace of wood attribute has appeared in your body. This should be Yang Fan's biggest gain this time. This means that he is no longer the pure-blooded little boy before. He can become an alchemist. Master, teach me. Yang Fan's heart once again burned with the flame of becoming an alchemist. Silly boy, do you think it's that easy to become an alchemist? Only fighters are qualified to become alchemists, because fighters have cyclones to support the fire. Alchemy is directly linked to the strength of the soul. The higher the cultivation level, the stronger the soul power, and the better the quality of the elixir can be refined. Yang Fan gathered the fighting spirit in the palm of his right hand. Master, this should be considered the 9th stage of fighting spirit. When can I condense the fighting spirit cyclone? He can see that the fighter is an important node in his life. Continue to practice. When you get there, your body will tell you. It was a wonderful feeling that even Yao Lao couldn't explain clearly. Even if he could describe it, Yao Lao didn't want to tell Yang Fan in such a straightforward way. Only when a practitioner experiences it personally can he be impressed. Living in theory blindly will not improve. When you are able to condense the Tao Qi cyclone, don't be curious, let alone try it blindly. A Tao master is different from a soul master. After a soul master reaches a bottleneck in his level, he only needs to go to the soul beast forest to hunt for a soul ring to successfully advance. But if a Tao master fails to condense the Tao Qi cyclone, he will become the 8th stage of Tao Qi, and everything needs to be started over again. Yang Fan knows it well. This is not only true for Tao masters, but also Tao masters, great Tao masters, and Tao spirits. This is also an important reason why there are fewer strong people as you go up. It may take several years for a Dao Zong level strongman to advance to the next level. If he fails to advance, everything needs to be started over again, which will make anyone's mentality explode. You continue to practice. Master needs to rest for a while. Just when Yao Lao was about to return to his body, Yang Fan suddenly said, "Master, why don't you absorb some of my Tao Qi first?" He really hopes that he can become a Tao master faster, but he hopes that Yao Lao can always accompany him on his future practice path. Master is not as fragile as you think. A warm feeling rose in Yao Lao's heart. Compared with the shaky soul when he first came to Douluo Continent 6 years ago, his soul is now very strong. The sudden increase in strength did not make Yang Fan arrogant, but instead he was more focused on practicing cross-legged. He also knew that his strength was not qualified to be arrogant on Douluo Continent. That afternoon, Yang Fan took time out of the hotel and asked passers-by in Xiandao City about the location of the medicine shop. His purpose of coming to Xiandao City this time was to find the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. If he wanted to enter this treasure land, the first thing to do was to refine the elixir to deal with the poison of the green phosphorus snake king. He needed to prepare all the herbs before Yao Lao recovered. He collected all the herbs that had a restraining effect on snake venom, such as lobelia, hibiscus, realga powder, and 7-leaf Diristolochia, in less than half a day. However, these are all ordinary herbs after all, and the most important one is called flame gentian. Flame gentian is not an ordinary herb, but a fire-attributed plant-type soul beast. After hunting, grinding it into powder has the effect of detoxification, and this plant-based soul beast can also improve the purity of the soul master's flame. It has always been the favorite of fire-attributed soul masters. According to Yao Lao, if you want to refine a flame pill that restrains the poison of the green phosphorus snake king, you must use the 10,000-year-old flame gentian grass. This kind of ordinary pharmacy will not sell it, not to mention 10,000 years, even 100 years. If you want to buy this precious plant-based soul beast herb, you must go to the Xiandao auction house. New book, please collect it. Chapter 17 Fighting Spirit. Yang Fan had already inquired about it. The entry threshold of the Xiandao auction house is 10,000 gold soul coins. After 2 months of hard training, he could only take out 10 gold soul coins, not to mention 10,000 gold soul coins. With his current worth, even if he could get in, he would not be eligible to participate in the auction. Yang Fan felt a class gap when he came to Xiandao City. The main reason why it is difficult for civilians to have powerful soul masters is this. Little guy, are you discouraged? Is the master's alchemy just for people to see? Yao Lao's voice sounded in Yang Fan's heart. Look at what's in front. Yang Fan looked in the direction of Yao Lao's voice. A magnificent building appeared in front of him. At the top of the building were 5 big words, Xiandao Soul Fighting Field. He instantly understood what Yao Lao meant. He could earn his first pot of gold in his life by participating in the soul fighting, and then use the money to buy medicinal materials, refine the pills and wrestle them. Yang Fan did not intend to let Yao Lao take on the work of refining medicine. He was going to refine it himself. Before that, he still needed to improve his strength to a fighter. Although it will take a long time, he is not in a hurry now. What year is it today? The 2637th year of the Douluo calendar. The immortal herbs in the yin-yang eye of ice and fire can still wait for him quietly for several years. Yao Lao asked Yang Fan to participate in the fighting spirit for another more important reason. Yang Fan's sudden increase in strength was an unexpected thing for Yao Lao. In order to deal with this situation, where the level is raised too quickly, he must enter the next stage of training in advance. The best training method is actual combat. In the Douluo Continent, the strong are respected. All the right to speak on this continent comes from fists. Like those royal children who rely on natural materials and treasures to accumulate their levels, they don't even have the experience of hunting soul beasts, and can only become embroidered pillows in the end. Before going to the fighting spirit field, Yang Fan first returned to the hotel to disguise himself. First, he found a black hood that could wrap his whole body, covering his body and face. In Xiandao City, the most prosperous city in the entire continent, the fact that a 6-year-old soul master participated in the fighting spirit will soon attract the attention of the Wuhan Hall. He couldn't reveal his age, let alone his identity as a soul-breaking spear soul master. Night fell. Yang Fan walked out of the hotel and headed towards the Great Soul Fighting Arena. The Great Soul Fighting Arena is located in the center of Xiandao City, less than 5 kilometers away from him. This distance is nothing to him now. In order to conceal his identity, Yang Fan naturally wouldn't carry the eye-catching Xuantian ruler on his back. As he got closer, the Great Soul Fighting Arena gave Yang Fan an unprecedented shock. This is a hemispherical building with a height of more than 180 meters. From his position, it looks like a huge sphere halfway into the ground. The reason for building a height of 180 meters is to give soul masters enough fighting space. There are countless monsters and demons in the Great Soul Fighting Arena. Some people even make themselves look like demons and monsters in order to show their specialness. Yang Fan's black cloak looks too vulgar. The Great Soul Fighting Arena is divided into 4 main soul fighting arenas and 64 sub-soul fighting arenas, which can accommodate more than 100,000 people at the same time. Yang Fan turned around and finally stood at the registration desk of the Soul Fighting Arena. The registration for the Soul Fighting Arena is very simple. You only need to fill out a form. Name, Yao Chen age. 40 birthplace, Yunluo City Martial Soul. Xuantian ruler Yang Fan scraped together and finally paid the registration fee of 10 gold soul coins, and received his own Iron Soul Fighting badge. After registration, he also needs to take a soul power test to determine the soul master level. This is to prevent the contestants from cheating. I'm sorry, respected soul master, you can't participate in the soul fighting competition. Yang Fan felt like he was hit on the head. His pockets are cleaner than his face now, and he was told that he can't participate. Why? An old voice came from under the black cloak, which made people sound not like he was 40 years old. According to the rules of our Great Soul Fighting Arena, only Great Soul Masters can participate in the soul fighting competition. Without obtaining the second soul ring, the instrument for soul power testing can only test Yang Fan's level 19 soul power. Yang Fan really knew this rule, but he only knew it after coming to Douluo Continent. The Great Soul Fighting Arena is ultimately just a commercial organization that needs to make a profit. For the viewing pleasure of the competition, soul masters with at least 2 soul skills are required to compete, because after a 1-ring soul master releases his soul skills, the only offensive means left are punching, kicking, and biting. It doesn't matter. I will participate in the Great Soul Master level battle. Yao Lao immediately made this perfect decision for Yang Fan. But there is no but. Doesn't the Great Soul Fighting Arena allow soul masters to challenge higher levels? It's hard to persuade the damn ghost with good words. Regarding Yao Lao's request, the staff of the Great Soul Fighting Arena did not continue to talk. Mr. Soul Master, what type of soul fighting do you want to participate in? The forms of soul fighting are divided into 3 categories. The first is gambling, which is to learn from each other and stop when the time is right. Neither side will kill people. The second is a life and death fight, which is mostly used to resolve the hatred of killing one's father and stealing one's wife. The third is a gambling fight, and the winner will get everything in the bet. Gambling. Yang Fan was quickly arranged into the lounge by the Great Soul Fighting Arena. You little brat, you actually dared to use your master's name. Master, didn't you sign up for the Great Soul Master level battle without my consent? Master, that was for your own good. I know. Fortunately, the Great Soul Fighting Arena has a rule that prohibits soul fighting for 1-ring soul masters. Otherwise, with his current physical strength and power, he would be equivalent to killing in the bronze game. Not only will it not improve his combat experience, but it will also make him a loser over time. Yang Fan was notified to go on stage to fight souls within a few minutes of sitting in the lounge of the Great Soul Fighting Arena. This was the first soul fight in his life. A soul fight at the Iron Soul Fighting level can get a reward of 10 gold soul coins if it wins, but nothing if it loses. It seems to be a sure win, but it is not. Not to mention that, if you accidentally die on the soul fighting stage, the cost of treating injuries may be more than 10 gold soul coins. Yang Fan stood at the entrance of the competition channel and looked across. Although it was blocked by 2 layers of black metal nets, he could still see clearly that the girl standing on the opposite side of the competition channel was a fiery girl. The third one-on-one soul fighting match will be held next. The first to appear is Yao Chen, a level 19 soul master who has just successfully registered in our Xiandao soul fighting arena. Chapter 18. The first use of flame devouring wave ruler. The other one is a great soul master who has won 3 consecutive victories in our great soul fighting arena. The host on the stage paused deliberately. Huo Wu. The audience in the stands were actually not as many as imagined. One-on-one fighting souls like this great soul master level are not very popular in any city. The most respected are always the team fighting souls. However, at the moment Huo Wu appeared, there was still a cheer from the stands. Not only that, while welcoming Huo Wu, these people did not forget to mentally attack him, a soul fighting rookie. Well, they bought it. I believe all the distinguished guests have heard it. That's right. This is a cross-level soul fighting, with the 19th level soul master Yao Chen challenging the 25th level great soul master Huo Wu. There was another commotion in the stands of the soul fighting arena. Cross-level challenges have appeared since the beginning of the soul fighting arena, but they are pitifully rare. One ring challenging 2 rings is even more outrageous. Others can release 2 soul skills, but you only have 1 pitiful one. How can you play such a game? Next, let's enjoy this thrilling match. Huo Wu is now just a little girl who looks about 12 or 13 years old, with fiery red hair. She looks very angry, and her young face shows a bit of aggressive heroism. She is obviously dissatisfied with being matched with a rookie like him. Perhaps because girls develop earlier, Huo Wu is estimated to be close to 1.7 meters tall. 1 minute to prepare. When the referee said this, Huo Wu had already released her 2 spirit rings. A fiery red shadow quietly appeared behind her. This is her martial soul. Huo. Prepare to release your martial soul. The referee thought that Yang Fan was participating in the fighting spirit for the first time and did not understand the rules. But after the reminder, Yang Fan remained unmoved, and finally the referee looked at him with a look of stupidity. 1 minute passed in a flash. When the referee announced the start of the match, Huo Wu's slender and powerful long legs moved quickly and rushed straight towards Yang Fan. While running, the first soul ring under Huo Wu's feet suddenly flashed, and a section of orange-red flame suddenly rose above her fist. The distance of dozens of meters was shortened in an instant. It happened so fast. In a flash, Yang Fan had a black Xuantian ruler in his hand. After 2 months of hard training, the development and transformation of the body by the Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill, he can now barely swing this Xuantian ruler. The appearance of Xuantian ruler was unexpected for Huo Wu. The fist with flames hit the Xuantian ruler with a dull sound, and Huo Wu's body was also knocked back in the blink of an eye. On the other hand, Yang Fan. When the Xuantian ruler landed, the weight of the ruler itself had allowed Yang Fan to stabilize his body. The Great Fighting Soul Arena is different from the All-Continent Soul Master competition. In this place, you can use any weapon including martial spirits. The arrogance on Huo Wu's face disappeared and was replaced by solemnity. Just the punch just now made her no longer dare to despise the faceless little man in front of her. Flame meteor. First declare, then call. As Huo Wu roared, the 2 soul rings under her feet flickered at the same time. At the same time, the fire shadow behind her began to dance under the urging of soul power. Under her control, a line of fire flickered down from the midair, which really looked like a meteor. Yang Fan turned his body, and the fighting spirit in his body was transmitted to the Xuantian ruler through his arms. At the same time, his body jumped high and swept towards Huo Wu, who was 5 meters away, and a crescent-shaped fighting spirit came out. The next second, Huo Wu's body slammed heavily on the fighting soul stage. She blocked it, but failed to block it. Good boy. Yao Lao, who had experienced many storms, had long been calm in his heart, but Yang Fan's performance today made him excited. It was a bit ugly, but Yao Lao still saw the shadow of the flame-devouring wave ruler on Yang Fan's move. He only used this earth-level fighting skill, the broken waterfall, when digging the blue silver emperor. He didn't expect that this stinky boy would secretly learn a similar shape after just one time. Master taught me well. Yang Fan knew that he had not learned the essence. The scrolls of fighting skills are engraved with soul power. After reading it, the soul power will be engraved in the mind. This is the essence of fighting skills. At most, he used the Xuantian ruler as a medium to hit Huo Wu's body with fighting spirit. The third one-on-one fighting spirit, the winner is Yao Chen. The audience and the stands were shocked, and Yang Fan had quietly left. When he came to the score settlement, he received the 10 gold soul coins he won in this fighting spirit, which was considered to have earned back the registration fee. 10 gold soul coins. If you continue to earn at this rate, it is unknown when you want to enter the auction house. The most outrageous thing is that you have to wait for the flame gentian grass in the auction house. If you want to get out of the current predicament, the first way is to use the gold soul coins you get to buy medicinal materials for alchemy, and the second way is to upgrade from the iron fighting spirit to the bronze fighting spirit as soon as possible to get more fighting spirit rewards. He chose to do both. Yao Chen. Yang Fan didn't even need to look back. He could tell from the voice that it was Huo Wu who had just fought with him. Run. This girl might want to rob him of his money. Yao Chen, I want to fight you again. Yao Chen. Huo Wu was about to chase after him when her brother Huo Xiaogang stopped her. Sister, what are you doing? I just want to fight him again. Unwilling to admit defeat, Huo Wu glared at the direction Yang Fan left. Forget it. Victory and defeat are common in the military. Huo Xiaogang advised. I must fight him again. If the opponent was a middle-aged soul master of level 29 with rich combat experience, Huo Wu might feel better. But the opponent was only a level 19 soul master. The genius girl of the family who had lived in an environment of being the center of attention since childhood could not accept such a defeat. Huo Xiaogang shook his head helplessly. His sister had already used up all 2 soul skills, and the soul master on the opposite side had not even opened his martial soul. Yang Fan turned 2 streets and took off his black cloak in a corner where no one was. Master, my body. Have you felt it? Yes. This time, the fighting spirit made Yang Fan have an amazing discovery. His body's self-repair ability is terrifying. The fighting spirit and energy consumed by the fighting spirit just now have been fully restored when he walked out of the big fighting spirit field just now. This is the benefit that the Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill brings to you. Yang Fan suddenly understood. In the original work, Tang San absorbed the right leg bone of the Blue Silver Emperor and gained 2 skills. Wildfire can't burn out, Spring Breeze blows and regenerates, and flying. Although the Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill refined by Yao Lao lacks the ability to fly, it has Wildfire can't burn out, Spring Breeze blows and regenerates mixed into the pill. That is a soul bone skill that can grow short limbs by itself. I don't know if it still has this effect after being refined into a pill. Yang Fan will not try it. If possible, he hopes that he will never use this ability in his life. Chapter 19 Level 19 True Earth Level Fighting Skills. Do you want to learn the real flame-devouring wave ruler? Yao Lao's words made Yang Fan, who had just finished practicing, unable to remain calm. Master, teach me. Yao Lao smiled and took out an ancient scroll from his ring. He originally planned to teach Yang Fan this fighting skill after his strength reached that of a fighter, but Yang Fan's performance in the Great Fighting Soul Arena today was amazing. Although the flame-devouring wave ruler used by Yang Fan was tangible but not spiritual, it was obvious that he had put a lot of effort into the use of fighting spirit when performing it. It can be seen that this bad boy had thought about it behind the scenes. Thank you, Master. The scroll was khaki, but from the surface, it might be regarded as a piece of junk that no one wanted. Yang Fan opened the scroll and the words inside were clearly visible. Flame-devouring wave ruler, low level earth level, refined to perfection, split mountains and break waves with every move. Yang Fan held the scroll and felt it was heavy in his hand. This is an earth level fighting skill. In the Douluo Continent, such a Daoshu scroll would be fought over by Dao masters, and there is only one copy in the Douluo Continent. Before Yang Fan had time to be happy, the soul power on the scroll instantly poured into his brain. Yang Fan only felt a little bit of coolness in his head, and when he came to his senses, the memory of the Daoshu of Flame Devouring Wave Ruler had appeared in his mind. This is the real Flame Devouring Wave Ruler. The skills engraved by the soul power told him how to use Dao Qi, how to exert force, etc. This is an indescribable wonder. Although the Flame Devouring Wave Ruler is a ground level Daoshu, it needs to be equipped with the Xuantian Ruler to exert its full power. If the Xuantian Ruler is lost, the power of the Daoshu may not even reach the third level. Yao Lao asked Yang Fan to carry the Xuantian Ruler to temper Dao Qi on the one hand, and for future practice on the other hand. Practice diligently. Your current level is not enough to unleash the true power of the Flame Devouring Wave Ruler. Yes, Master. Yang Fan sat cross-legged on the bed. At this moment, all the Dao Qi in his body was mobilized by him and surrounded the huge ruler of the Xuantian Ruler. He did not release it. Instead, he kept practicing the use of Dao Qi in the way to exert force. He dared not use this kind of earth-level fighting skills in Xiandao City. Even if the power was not enough, the patrol strength of Xiandao City would definitely attract the Imperial City Defense Army and the Spirit Hall. A day and a night of practice passed quickly. Yang Fan welcomed his night in Xiandao City. Next, let us invite the Soul Master Yao Chen, who successfully challenged the level yesterday. Yao Chen's opponent is the Great Soul Master Xuantian, who has won 5 consecutive victories in our Great Soul Fighting Arena. The two boarded the Soul Fighting Arena almost at the same time. Perhaps because his sister was beaten yesterday, Xuantian's eyes were full of fire as soon as he came up. 1 minute to prepare. Xuantian is also a level 25 Great Soul Master, but his martial soul is a unicorn fire Tyrannosaurus. After the martial spirit possessed him, orange-red flames rose all over his body. His originally sturdy body visibly grew larger. A layer of fiery dark red scales covered the surface of his skin, and a short horn protruded from his head. Behind him appeared a phantom similar to Tyrannosaurus. Beast martial spirit masters are always different from weapon martial spirit masters. After releasing their martial spirits, beast spirit masters will inherit some of the characteristics of their martial spirits. The higher the level, the more obvious this characteristic will be. Unlike Xuantian's huge change, Yang Fan, who was standing opposite, just took out the Xuantian Ruler from the storage soul guide. Is this your martial spirit? Xuantian had already seen the information form when Yang Fan signed up, and the column for martial spirit was filled with Xuantian Ruler. Where is your spirit ring? Faced with questions one after another, Yang Fan always maintained a mysterious silence. A minute passed quickly. Xuantian looked stern and clasped his hands in front of his chest. A dark red light rushed out of his palms and instantly condensed into a palm-sized dark red light ball that shot towards Yang Fan. This is Xuantian's first soul skill, Tyrannosaurus Strike. Facing the sudden attack, Yang Fan dragged the Xuantian Ruler, which was longer than his body, and rushed forward instantly. Even though he felt the blazing heat coming towards him, Yang Fan did not hesitate for a moment. The lightning-fast attack brought the fireball to Yang Fan in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Yang Fan used the power of his running to drive his waist, to throw the Xuantian Ruler in his hand. The fireball collapsed, sparks flew, and the Xuantian Ruler in Yang Fan's hand was almost shaken away. Xuantian didn't understand why Yang Fan used this hard-hitting method, but he didn't know that the flash of the soul-breaking spear Soul Master would always move forward. At the moment, when Xuantian was stunned, Yang Fan had already mobilized the fighting spirit in his body to run rapidly. Earth-level fighting skill, Flame Dividing Devouring Wave Ruler. Release. Retract the force. Yao Lao's reminder made Yang Fan instantly retract 3 points of force. The next second, the fighting spirit swung out by the Xuantian Ruler, condensed into a crescent-shaped light slash. Seeing this, Xuantian quickly released his second soul skill Tyrannosaurus Roar. It can be seen that the soul power of Xuantian's punch formed a roaring Tyrannosaurus head on the path. Use strong attack to counter strong attack. But how can soul skills deal with powerful earth level fighting skills? The Tyrannosaurus head collided with the crescent light slash and instantly disintegrated. Yu Xiaogan's body was also knocked out by the airwave generated by the collision and hit the ground, and then was blown away 5 or 6 meters by the hot airwave. The fighting soul field with a radius of 50 meters was slightly trembling because of the flame-devouring wave ruler. This was the first time that Yang Fan released the real flame-devouring wave ruler. The power was amazing. If it weren't for Yao Lao's reminder to hold back, Yu Xiaogang might have been lying in bed for a while now. The winner is Yao Chen. The referee's tone was full of disbelief. This was indeed a challenge beyond his level, but he couldn't tell who the person who surpassed his level was. He won again. Where did this yodel named Yao Chen come from? He succeeded in leaping over to a higher level twice. This little guy is amazing. Buy him tomorrow. Winning once is luck, winning twice is strength. No one dares to look down on Yang Fan in the current Great Soul Fighting arena. At least, no one dares to say that they are 100% victorious in the Great Soul Fighting arena. Brother, are you okay? Yu Xiaogang shook his head. Compared to the pain in his body, the loss in his heart was greater. Is Yao Chen really only level 19? He couldn't help but raise a question in his heart. But the authority of the Great Soul Fighting arena cannot be questioned by him, because before each soul fight, the Great Soul Fighting arena will test the soul power of the Soul Master. Damn it. Next time I meet him, I must defeat him. When Huo looked up at the opposite side, there was no trace of Yang Fan there. Chapter 20 Bottleneck. Fighting Cyclone. The first one-on-one fighting soul match. The winner is Yao Chen. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, Yang Fan has been in Xiandao City for a month. The super high self-recovery ability of the blue-silver soul bone pill allows him to practice during the day and not miss the one-on-one fighting souls in the Great Fighting Soul Arena at night. In this month, he feels that his fighting spirit and soul power have become stronger, his wallet has slowly bulged, and his rank has changed from black iron to bronze. Since defeating Yu Xiaogang last time, he has never seen this pair of fiery siblings again. Come to think of it, both of them are students of Blazing Fire Academy. Regular academies have regulations that students are not allowed to go to the Great Fighting Soul Arena for private fighting without the consent of the academy. This is because, although the gambling fighting souls in the Great Fighting Soul Arena are not allowed to kill, it is normal for them to occasionally die or get injured. Get out of here. Yang Fan just walked out of the Great Fighting Soul Arena and saw 7 soul masters of different heights, weights, and thinness coming towards him. From a distance, people can feel their arrogance. This is the fighting spirit group, the Crazy War Team, which has just arrived in Xiandao City recently. Everyone in the team is in their 20s, and all of them are spirit masters above level 27. The team leader, Crazy Rhino, is a level 29 Great Spirit Master who looks like a bull-headed chief. Although the Crazy War Team has only been in the Xiandao Great Fighting Spirit Arena for a few days, they have already attracted a group of perverts with their powerful fighting style. Others saw the Crazy War Team coming and avoided them. Yang Fan had good luck today. He was the first in the one-on-one fighting spirit match, which meant that after the match, he had enough time to enjoy the foundation building spirit liquid to strengthen his body. Master, how did I use the flame dividing wave ruler today? Just barely acceptable. Can't you praise me? With the little fighting spirit you have, you can only fight against spirit masters of this level. If you can't defeat them in one move, just prepare to be beaten passively on the stage. Although the master and apprentice were bickering, Yang Fan knew that Yao Lao was stating the facts. Although the fighting spirit in his body was much stronger, he still couldn't escape the 9th stage of fighting spirit. A ground level fighting skill can directly drain the fighting spirit in his body completely. It was like this before, and it is still like this now. The only difference is that the power of the flame devouring wave ruler has been slightly improved. Concentrate your mind. Yao Lao whipped Yang Fan with a small whip, made of fighting spirit, and at the same time, dripped a few drops of foundation building spirit liquid into the bathtub. Yang Fan held his breath, and concentrated his mind, urging the fighting spirit to circulate in his body. At this moment, His body was like a huge whirlpool that was opened, and the diluted foundation building spirit liquid penetrated into the surface of Yang Fan's body at a speed visible to the naked eye. Suddenly, Yang Fan's body trembled violently. "Master, I." When he opened his eyes, he saw that the master was staring at him with a smile, and there was kindness, satisfaction, and relief in the smile. "I can condense the fighting spirit vortex. This should be what Yao Lao said. When the time comes, the body will tell him." This is indeed a feeling that cannot be expressed in words. Congratulations, little guy. We, the master and the disciple, will have a lot to do tomorrow. The day they came out of Douluo City, Yao Lao had already paved the way for Yang Fan's future cultivation. He did not intend to let Yang Fan condense the Dao Qi cyclone by himself. Even if Yang Fan could condense it with a high probability with his current physical strength, he did not intend to do so. Once the Dao Qi 9th stage fails to condense the Dao Qi cyclone, the strength will drop to the Dao Qi 8th stage. Even if the cultivation goes smoothly, it will take at least 2 months or even longer to condense the Dao Qi cyclone next time. Some unlucky people even have to condense more than 10 times before they can succeed. For example, repeated condensation not only makes the Dao Master lose the best time for cultivation, but also causes a fatal blow to the Dao Master's mentality. The fall of many genius Dao Masters began with the failure to condense the Dao Qi cyclone. There is a pill recipe in his ring that can perfectly solve the problem Yang Fan is currently facing. Go buy medicine according to this pill recipe tomorrow. Yang Fan took it and said excitedly, "Gathering Qi powder." The function of gathering Qi powder is to enable a Dao Qi 9th stage to condense the Dao Qi cyclone with 100% success. 4 50-year-old black leaf lotuses, 2 ripe snake saliva fruits, 1 20-year-old spirit gathering grass, 1 water attribute 2nd level magic core. Although the first 3 herbs are expensive, they can all be bought with money. Master, this water attribute 2nd level magic core should be equivalent to the soul bone of a 2000-year-old water attribute soul beast. Soul bones are not common at all in Douluo Continent. Even most soul masters have only heard of the name of soul bones in their lifetime, but have never seen them. If the flame gentian grass is priceless, then the soul bone is priceless. Tomorrow, the master and disciple will go and prepare the first 3 herbs. Yao Lao had thought about this problem long before. The magic core is the soul bone. The rarity of soul bones in Douluo Continent is much higher than that in Dao Qi Continent. If it really doesn't work, you can only find a 2000-year-old water attribute soul beast to refine it with strange fire. The effect is definitely not as good as the soul bone, but it can also increase the probability of Yang Fan condensing the Dao Qi cyclone. This matter cannot be delayed. After reaching the bottleneck of the soul master's level, he can still practice, even if he does not hunt for soul rings, but it is different for the fighting master. If Yang Fan cannot condense the fighting cyclone, he cannot proceed to the next stage of practice. Yao Lao set the time limit to be at most half a month. If he cannot find the water attribute soul bone within half a month, he will go directly to the Xingdao Great Forest to hunt water attribute soul beasts. Okay. Yang Fan carefully put the pill formula into the soul guide, and the contents of the pill formula were already memorized by him. Fighter. It was within reach for him, but also out of reach. As long as he could reach this fighter, he could become a pharmacist, learn to make pills from Yao Lao, and learn the skills he dreamed of. When he thought of these, he even thought, "Stinky boy, don't let your imagination run wild, and don't try it easily." Yao Lao understood Yang Fan's inner thoughts at the moment. He clearly remembered that when he reached the 9th stage of fighting spirit, he was so excited that he couldn't sleep all night, and he almost couldn't suppress the heart that wanted to condense the fighting cyclone. Although he didn't take a key gathering powder, he finally chose the best time to break through. That night, Yang Fan couldn't sleep again. He was even more excited than when his martial spirit awakened. Where can he find soul bones? Something that is hard to come by in Douluo Continent. The 100,000-year-old blue silver emperor soul bone he got before has made him happy for more than 2 months, but that was entirely because he had the upper hand in advance. Now he has no information about water attributed soul bones in his head. This is the first time a new author has written a book. If you like it, please support it. Please collect and read it. Chapter 21. I heard you are very strong. I want to give it a try. After a night of meditation, Yang Fan summarized the ways to obtain soul bones. The first way, hunting soul beasts to obtain soul bones. This is the most direct method on Douluo Continent. The reason why the town outside the soul beast forest is crowded with people is that in addition to some idle soul masters who pursue freedom and earn rewards by helping others hunt soul rings, there are also some who try to improve their own strength by exploding soul bones through map brushing. This part of soul masters often occupies the majority. The second way, auction. If you want to obtain soul bones through this way, you need luck that is hard to come by. The third way, hunting soul masters with soul bones. Although soul bones are rare, it does not mean that they are extinct. There are still very few soul masters with soul bones on Douluo Continent, but these lucky ones will not easily expose their soul bones. At present, everyone who is known to have soul bones is powerful. Yang Fan deeply felt that the task of fighting spirit cultivation is long and arduous, and just a 4th grade pill is enough to make him scratch his scalp. Yang Fan went to the largest medicine shop in Xiandao City in the afternoon, and it was already evening when he came out. It was really expensive. 4 black leaf lotus, 2 snake saliva fruits, and a spirit gathering grass cost him 300 gold soul coins. In addition, Yao Lao also asked him to buy some herbs for healing, body protection, and spiritual nourishment in case of emergency. A total of 500 gold soul coins were spent in the afternoon. Fortunately, he was promoted from black iron to bronze in a few days, and he could get 100 gold soul coins by winning a soul fight. Otherwise he really couldn't walk out of this medicine shop today. The medicine shop is located in the center of Xiandao City, not far from the soul fighting field. Yang Fan casually took 2 bites and left. For a poor guy like him, he felt like he couldn't survive if he didn't fight a soul fight. At night, the lights in the soul fighting field flickered, and people were crowded. There are only 3 types of people who come here. One is the guests who come to the big soul fighting field to consume. One is the soul master who comes to the soul fighting field to earn rewards. And one is the ambitious young man who wants to improve himself. Yang Fan can barely be regarded as the latter two. Arriving at the registration office, he threw the copper fighting spirit badge on the table. He is now a well-known soul master in the fighting soul arena. After all, it is not common to challenge a soul of a high level, but he does it every day. After seeing the black cloak, the staff picked up the copper fighting spirit badge and skillfully registered Yang Fan. The two did not communicate at all during the whole process. Sign me up for a one-on-one fighting spirit. The burly man who suddenly appeared behind him made Yang Fan feel 2 beams of cold light. The man who followed Yang Fan to register was the captain of the crazy battle team, Crazy Rhino. The more than 2-meter tall figure was like a small mountain in front of Yang Fan. Little guy, your opponent is here. Yang Fan nodded slightly. He knew. The matching mechanism of the fighting soul arena is actually very simple. That is, to arrange in the order of registration. If there is no participating soul master in front, then the next contestant after registration will become your opponent. As for whether the group fighting soul is like this, he doesn't know, but the one-on-one fighting soul is indeed like this. Crazy Rhino was obviously waiting for him here just now, obviously in order to be able to snipe him in the one-on-one fighting soul. Yang Fan was the first to come today, so he was quickly arranged in the big fighting soul arena. Hello, dear distinguished friends. Next is the first one-on-one soul fighting match tonight. First, please welcome the Crazy Rhino who is participating in the one-on-one soul fighting match for the first time in our big soul fighting arena. Although it was the first time for Crazy Rhino to participate in the one-on-one soul fighting match, he had already made a name for himself because he led the Crazy War team to win all the way in the group soul fighting match. Next is Yao Chen, the 19th level soul master who has been successfully crossing levels in our big soul fighting arena. As soon as Yang Fan came out, he heard a cheer from the stands of the soul fighting arena. There were a lot more spectators today than in the past, but he didn't know whether they were coming for him or for the Crazy Rhino on the opposite side. I heard that you are very strong. I want to give it a try. The Crazy Rhino standing on the opposite side made a provocative gesture towards Yang Fan with disdain. The reason why Crazy Rhino sniped Yang Fan in the soul fighting arena was not because of his shameful desire to win, but because the Crazy War team spent a lot of money on this game. He really didn't believe that a one-ring soul master could have any ability. Before the referee announced a 1-minute preparation time, the Crazy Rhino on the opposite side had already arrogantly released his martial spirit. The spirit of the Mad Rhino is the Rhino, a defensive power spirit. This spirit is somewhat similar to the plate armor giant rhino, but the quality is not the same as the plate armor giant rhino. When the Mad Rhino released his spirit, two spirit rings, one white and one yellow, appeared under his feet. Such spirit rings are obviously not dazzling in the spirit master world, but they are common in the large fighting spirit arena, where idle spirit masters gather. As civilian spirit masters, if they do not have the ability to hunt spirit beasts, they will choose to bow to fate and choose the 10-year spirit beasts that are easy to hunt. The reason why the Mad Rhino is confident in controlling Yang Fan depends entirely on his level 29 spirit power. The game begins. After the Mad Rhino released his spirit, not only did his body expand, but his skin also had a thick keratin layer like armor. The biggest change was his head, with a half-foot long horn flashing a brown-yellow light. With his own loud shout, the 10-year spirit ring on his body glowed white. The whole person rushed towards Yang Fan with an indomitable momentum. The biggest reason why the Crazy War team had caused their opponents to be killed or injured in previous matches was because of the fierce fighting style of the captain, Crazy Rhino. Strong attack spirit master. The fighting spirit in Yang Fan's body was instantly agitated. Whether it was a strong attack spirit master, a control spirit master or an agility spirit master, they could not change Yang Fan's attack method. The fiery red fighting spirit emerged from his palm and instantly spread to the entire ruler. As Crazy Rhino's fists mashed down, Yang Fan also swung the Xuantian ruler in his hand. Chasing stars and sweeping fire. A low-level Xuan level fighting skill. It can split mountains and crack the earth when it is practiced to perfection. The surging flames collided with Crazy Rhino's Vingar-sized fist, and a loud sound like a gas explosion was heard in the air. The fiery red fighting spirit instantly rolled back, and an invisible airwave hit Crazy Rhino, and staggered several times. Although chasing stars and sweeping fire was a Xuan level fighting skill that Yao Lao paired with his flame soul breaking, it did not mean that the Xuantian ruler could not be used, but the effect was much worse. Is that all you have? What kind of man did your mother mate with to give birth to a small person like you? Attacking the heart is the best. The Crazy Rhino, who underestimated Yang Fan's strength, tried to use verbal attacks to disrupt Yang Fan's offensive rhythm. In fact, in previous games, the Crazy War team used this method more than once to provoke the opponent, to detect the opponent's strength. He succeeded. This sentence completely irritated Yang Fan, thus changing Yang Fan's offensive rhythm. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. With the master here, I wonder who dares to touch you. The remaining Dao Qi in Yang Fan's body surged up instantly, and the strange lines on the Xuantian ruler seemed to be dyed red at this moment. Flame dividing devouring wave ruler. Yang Fan rushed forward to close the distance between him and the Crazy Rhino, and the bursting fire attribute Dao Qi gushed out like a vicious dog pouncing on its food. Low-level earth-level fighting skills. Even if Yang Fan's Dao Qi was mostly drained, it was impossible for a person like the Crazy Rhino to resist. It happened in a flash. Seeing that he could not dodge in time, the Crazy Rhino could only choose to use his powerful Beast Soul Master body to take it hard. But he still underestimated this seemingly unimpressive fighting skill. The power of the flame dividing devouring wave ruler made the Crazy Rhino's sturdy chest instantly dent, and his broad body shook violently like tofu. The Crazy Rhino's body weighing hundreds of pounds fell heavily to the ground, and he vomited a large mouthful of blood with a wow. The result of the fighting spirit was obvious. If it weren't for the fact that the fighting spirit in his body had been released by the star chasing fire before, the current Crazy Rhino would not be as simple as falling on the fighting stage and vomiting blood. Although this is the case, the sunken chest has already shown how serious the injury of the crazy rhino is. Without more than half a year of recuperation, it is definitely impossible to continue to fight. Yang Fan looked at the crazy rhino lying on the ground. He did not feel the pleasure of revenge after being talked about. Instead, his heartbeat quickened when he saw the collapsed chest of the crazy rhino. Although he had killed a flame tiger before, it was completely different from a human soul master. At this time, the other members of the crazy war team saw that their captain was seriously injured, and they all jumped onto the fighting stage to settle accounts with Yang Fan. In the eyes of the other 6 people, Yang Fan felt obvious murderous intent. For Yang Fan, killing may still be a threshold, but for these soul masters who lick blood on the edge of a knife, it is commonplace. Don't be afraid. With the master here, I don't see who dares to touch you. Yang Fan was not afraid at first, and Yao Lao's words gave him a great confidence. Just when the other 6 people were about to rush forward, the airflow above the fighting arena suddenly twisted. A 5-ring Soul King fell from the sky. The black wings behind him told people that this was a flying Soul King. Don't you know the rules of the fighting arena? The middle-aged man's voice was low, but full of momentum, and instantly made the berserker team, who wanted to cause trouble, give up the idea of messing around. The middle-aged man turned to Yang Fan and said, "You can leave now. It is normal to have accidents in fighting souls, and no compensation is required. Otherwise, there would not be a situation like the berserker team that caused the opponent to be either dead or injured." Yang Fan left, but the berserker team was left behind by the great fighting soul arena. This is a way for the fighting soul arena to coordinate the conflicts between soul masters, and it is also a protection for every participating soul master. Of course, this service is only limited to tonight, and what will happen between the 2 sides tomorrow has nothing to do with the great fighting soul arena. Time flies, and another 10 days have passed. Since he seriously injured the crazy rhino in the great soul fighting arena last time, he has never stepped onto the soul fighting arena again. Instead, he walks around the great soul fighting arena every day according to Yao Lao's teachings, specifically to watch the soul fighting, or life and death fights between those brutal soul masters. Direct attack to death. Fortunately, most of the people who are oriented to this kind of soul fighting are civilians, so the tickets are not expensive. Although he has not participated in the soul fighting in the past few days, his reputation in the great soul fighting arena has been completely established with the battle with the crazy rhino. A level 19 Great Soul Master can successfully cross levels one after another, which naturally attracted the attention of the sects that are looking for talents in the Great Soul Fighting arena. During this period, several small and medium-sized sects in Xiandao City came to win over, and most of them directly persuaded them to retreat the moment Yao Lao opened his mouth. But there were still some hungry guys who tried to let him go to the sect to teach, but in the end they were all rejected by Yao Lao. A few days ago, some people had doubts about his identity and strength. Fortunately, the Great Soul Fighting Arena personally came forward to clarify, proving his soul power level and the fairness and justice of the Great Soul Fighting Arena. Yao Lao also knew that this would not work, so he was trying to change the color of his spirit ring. That day, just as Yang Fan was about to go to the Xingdao Great Forest to hunt a water-attributed spirit beast to replace the second level magic core, his cultivation career ushered in a huge turning point. Is it true? Of course it's true. The auction house has released the news that the right arm bone of the 3,000-year-old blue wolf will be auctioned tomorrow night. How much is this thing worth? How much? Priceless. Let's forget about it. We will never have a chance to get such a thing as a spirit bone in this lifetime. This news quickly spread in places where spirit masters gather, such as the Great Dao Soul Arena. Master, the right arm bone of the 3,000-year-old blue wolf, which is 1,000 years more than the 2,000-year-old water-attributed spirit bone he needs. Yang Fan knew that he didn't have enough money, but he still wanted to take a look in case someone intercepted it and let him pick it up. Go back first. Although it is only a 3,000-year-old spirit bone, it is also unmarketable and priceless, and it will definitely attract competition among the families in Xiandao City. Master, I'm counting on you this time. In addition to the entry qualification of 10,000 gold soul coins, there is another way to enter the auction house: become a seller. If you have an item that is worth the auction house's manpower and material resources to help auction, you can also enter. The reason why Yang Fan didn't use this method before was because he knew it would be useless even if he entered. Silly boy, you are so polite to the master. For the master and apprentice, there is only one way to enter the auction house: make pills. This is also the only thing that the auction house will bid for them at present. Back at his residence, Yao Lao took out the black magic cauldron again. The same medicinal materials will produce different quality pills in the hands of different alchemists, which depends on 3 points. The first point is the control of the fire, which is also the foundation of becoming an alchemist. The second point is the control of the pill by the soul power, which is the top priority of alchemy. If you want to become a high-level alchemist, you must have a strong soul power to support it. The third point is the quality of the fire. There is an essential difference between the pills made by ordinary fire, beast fire, and strange fire. Yao Lao had not told Yang Fan about this before, because he did not feel the slightest wood attribute in his body, but with the appearance of the Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill, everything changed. His good apprentice has the opportunity to become an excellent alchemist. Now it is developing in the direction he expects, and it will bring him unexpected surprises from time to time. Yang Fan lay on the table and stared intently. Living in the Puyi clan for many years, he felt that Yao Lao's pill making is simply a visual feast. Chapter 23 Second Grade Pill. Don't look at it. Do you think you can attract pill thunder every time? A cherry-sized earthy brown pill appeared in Yao Lao's hand. Just from the appearance and color, it can be seen that it is not as good as the 6th grade Blue Emperor Soul Bone Pill he had eaten before. 2nd grade Pulse Protection Pill. It has the function of protecting the body and meridians. Yao Lao put the pill into a small medicine bottle prepared in advance. Time is short and materials are limited. The best pill he can refine at present is only this. The pill is made of a 10-year-old sandwood root, 2 10-year-old emperor bloodgrass, and the flame tiger whip you took before. The real formula of the pulse protection pill should be made of sandwood root, blood spirit demon fruit and firebone dragon flower. Because there are no such medicinal materials, they can only be replaced with those of the same properties. The effect is a little worse, so it cannot be considered a real 2nd grade pill. But it is not for Yang Fan, a silly boy, so it is not a big problem. Master, I've got it. He had memorized both the Douluo and Douluo pills. That afternoon, Yang Fan came to the auction house with the Veins Protection Pill. The auction house and the Great Daoheng Arena were both built in a dome-shaped way. It was like a sphere was cut in two and placed in different places in different Xiandao cities. The only difference was that the auction house looked more splendid and precious, and the entire building exuded a sense of money from top to bottom. There was no sign on the building, only a hammer pattern. Little guy, it's up to you next. The appearance of a soul bone would inevitably attract many strong men in Xiandao City. In this case, it would be inconvenient for Yao Lao to expose his own aura. Master, don't worry, I can handle it myself. He came here today for no other reason, just to see what the water attributed soul bone looked like, and how much it would be successfully auctioned at. Yang Fan took a deep breath and walked straight towards the auction house. As soon as he reached the milky white arched gate, he was stopped by the woman standing outside. Little boy, you can't enter here. Although Yang Fan was small, he still made the woman smile professionally. I'm here to sell something. Yang Fan opened the medicine bottle, and a faint medicinal fragrance instantly filled the air. After hesitating for a second, the woman smiled and said, "Please follow me." Although she didn't know what was in it, the strong smell made her feel that it was not simple. As the reception manager of the auction house, she had also seen the world. The momentum that Yang Fan deliberately burst out just now told him that the seemingly young child in front of him was a soul master. Soon, Yang Fan was brought to a room on the 2nd floor of the auction house. Appraiser number 2. This distinguished guest hopes to participate in the auction of this item. Before any item is auctioned, it needs to be appraised by a special appraiser of the auction house to appraise its function and value, as well as whether it is eligible to participate in the auction. When the appraiser saw Yang Fan, he was obviously stunned. Obviously, he did not expect to welcome such a young seller today. Please let me see the items to be auctioned. When the pills in the medicine bottle were poured into a special container, the appraiser's expression showed experience again. Where did you get this? This second appraiser was obviously a person who knew about pills. My own. Are you sure you want to sell it? You are responsible for the appraisal. I'm responsible for the sale. Why are there so many questions? The appraiser, who was scolded, began to use a magnifying glass to study the pulse protecting pill in front of him. In the end, he couldn't figure out what it was. Can you tell me the name of this pill and its function? He could see that the quality of this pill was not low, but that was all. He was a pill lover and liked to study pills, but he had never seen anyone refine pills so exquisitely. This pill is called the pulse protecting pill. It has the effect of protecting the body and meridians, cleansing the bones and marrow, and can protect the soul master from damage. When the heart meridian is damaged, the appraiser was stunned when he heard it. No matter how much Yang Fan said, the appraisers in the auction house always have to appraise the quality and function of the auction items. This is the meaning of their existence. The appraiser took out a special tool to clamp the pulse protecting pill, and then used another metal blade to gently scrape a little medicine powder on it, and licked it gently with his tongue. His eyes suddenly brightened. Out of caution, the appraiser still used soul power to shake his heart vein. In the end, it was determined that this pill really has the magical effect of protecting the body and protecting the pulse. As for the repair of the damaged heart vein, it is difficult for him to risk his life with a salary of several hundred gold soul coins a month. After the final discussion, the starting price of this pulse protecting pill is 2,000 gold soul coins. Although the effect of this pill has been determined, the soul masters of Douluo Continent have always paid attention to soul rings and soul bones. Pills have always been around in the long history of Douluo Continent, but they have never been valued by soul masters. The starting price of 2,000 gold soul coins was still fought for by Yang Fan, and whether it can be sold is another matter. After becoming the seller tonight, Yang Fan can appear at tonight's auction openly. The auction tonight has not started yet. The huge venue is empty. Yang Fan found a seat near the corner of the last row, which is convenient for him to observe the entire auction. Stinky boy, Master didn't say that the pulse protection pill can save lives. This is not to allow us to enter the auction smoothly. After this conversation, Yao Lao completely sank in his heart. Night fell. The number of people in the auction gradually increased. Many well-known sects and families in Xiandao City appeared one after another. In just half an hour, they had occupied 80% of the auction venue. At this time, a very interesting phenomenon appeared in the auction venue. Most of the well-known sects and families wore masks, while those soul masters who seemed to have no money and power showed their true faces. In fact, it is easy to understand. Those who wear masks are determined to get the soul bones, but they don't want to be seen through and cause a disaster. Those who don't wear masks can't say that they have no interest in soul bones, but they can only say that they have no idea about auctioning soul bones. At this time, a group of 7 or 8 soul masters suddenly walked past Yang Fan. The aura of each soul master was very strong, and their arrival instantly attracted the attention of most of the sects in the auction. Although these people were wearing masks, the shoes on their feet allowed Yang Fan to confirm their identities. Spirit Hall. This kind of shoes with dark black patterns are only distributed to spirit masters of the Spirit Hall, and ordinary spirit masters of the Spirit Hall are not eligible to receive them. The dark gold pattern on the shoes of the person leading the way showed that his identity was not simple. This group of people wore masks, but they didn't wear them. Yang Fan saw this group of spirit masters of the Spirit Hall, and a surge of anger rose in his heart. It was because of the suppression of the Spirit Hall that the entire POE clan moved like stray dogs. Chapter 24. Intercepting Soulbone. As the Wuhan Hall sat in the first row, the highlight of the night began. Because the Xiandao auction house is open 24 hours a day, there is no such thing as a finale 8 o'clock in the evening, golden time. 4 staff members walked in unison and pushed the 3,000-year-old water attribute soul bone to the center of the auction table. When the red cloth covering the soul bone was slowly lifted, the atmosphere in the entire auction hall changed subtly. Others stretched their necks to look at the soul bone in the center of the auction table. For most people here, they may have never seen it before. Yang Fan was already standing on his seat. He didn't understand the charm of soul bones before, but after he really started to practice martial souls, he understood. It is a yearning that can make people crazy. Dear guests, this treasure in front of you doesn't need me to introduce it too much. 3,000-year-old water blue wolf right arm bone, starting price 800,000 gold soul coins. Soul bone trading is an extremely rare thing in Douluo Continent. Even in Xiandao City, the capital of the Xiandao Empire, it may not happen twice a year. The auction begins. As soon as the voice fell, voices appeared one after another in the crowd. 850,000. 880,000. I'll bid 1 million. 1,100,000. No matter how much the previous person bid, it will be immediately covered by the next voice. In just a few minutes, the auction price of the soul bone has reached a terrifying 1,500,000. 1,500,000 gold soul coins. Yang Fan once again deeply realized that the cultivation of Dao Qi is a long way to go. If he needs to throw a soul bone into it every time he refines the elixir, isn't this a damn way to kill him? 1,600,000 gold soul coins. The spirit hall, which had been silent from beginning to end, took action. The intervention of the spirit hall instantly dissuaded some of the sects and families. Everyone wanted this soul bone, but didn't want to offend the spirit hall because of it. 1,650,000. Some people are afraid of the spirit hall, so naturally there are people who are willing to take risks for soul bones. 1,700,000. 1,750,000. The price continued to rise until it stopped at 1,900,000. 2,100,000. Sereth's reappearance made everyone unable to shout anymore. Everyone present wanted this soul bone, but they didn't want to go bankrupt because of it. If they were to compete with the spirit hall in terms of financial strength, the only two empires that could compete with it on the Douluo continent would probably be the Xiandao and Xingluo empires. 2,100,000 once. 2,100,000 twice. 2,100,000 three times. Deal. The hammer fell, and the deal was done. The 3,000-year-old water attribute water trading blue wolf right arm bone was finally fixed at 2,100,000 gold soul coins. Ceres, who won the soul bone, was undoubtedly the most excited person in the auction hall, but there was another person in the corner of the auction hall who was also excited at this time. If this soul bone was won by someone else, Yang Fan might not have too many thoughts. But this is the spirit hall. Why is it so uncomfortable for this soul bone that suits him to fall into the hands of the spirit hall? The next thing to be auctioned is a pill called the vein protection pill. This pill can protect the veins and body, cleanse the bones and marrow. The staff on the auction table said a lot, fearing that this pill would not be sold. It was indeed so. When the staff announced the starting price of 2,000 gold soul coins, the soul masters present instantly gave up the idea. This is also the reason why the evolution of tens of thousands of years has never made soul masters pay attention to elixirs. Just when everyone thought that this elixir would fail to sell, a voice rang out from the first row of the sales floor. 10,000 gold soul coins. The bidder was none other than Ceres, who had just successfully bid for the soul bone. No one knew why he was bidding for such an elixir, perhaps because of the joy of getting the soul bone, or perhaps because he was really moved by such an elixir. 10,000 gold soul coins. This is an absolutely sky-high price in the elixir world. Naturally, no one chose to continue bidding for Ceres's bid. The hammer fell, and the deal was done. Yang Fan earned his first pot of gold in his life by luck, but it did not affect his strong desire to snatch the soul bone from Ceres. With the success of the soul bone transaction, the soul masters and sects who came here for the sake of fame also quietly left. This also included Yang Fan. He got the 9,000 gold soul coins as he wished, minus the auction house's commission. Get out quickly. This kind of fraudulent transaction can only be done once, otherwise it is easy to be chased and hacked. If you want to do it, do it. Yao Lao knew the grudge between the Poe clan and the Spirit Hall, and also understood Yang Fan's inner thoughts at the moment. But Yang Fan didn't want to snatch a soul bone from the hands of the Spirit Hall to be proud, but he was hindered by Ceres's strength. No buts, Master is by your side. If a soul master doesn't even have the courage to face the enemy, then what is the point of practicing now? Yao Lao's words gradually made Yang Fan's heart firm. If a soul master gets a soul bone, what is the first thing he does? It must be to absorb the soul bone directly. Even if the soul bone does not match the soul master's attributes, it can bring the soul master a level upgrade and a relatively good soul skill. So if you want to snatch this soul bone from Ceres, the best opportunity is today. After discussing, the master and the apprentice came to the outside of the spirit hall in Xiandao City. The spirit hall has a strict organizational structure on the Douluo Continent. The lowest level is the Spirit Branch Hall, which is distributed in any city on the Douluo Continent. The Broken Room in the Holy Soul Village is also a kind of Spirit Branch Hall. Above are the Spirit Sub-Hall and the Spirit Main Hall, which are of the size that only medium-sized cities and large cities can have respectively. Next is the Spirit Holy Hall, which is only worthy of the capitals of the two empires. Above the Spirit Holy Hall are the Elder Hall, the Douluo Hall, and the Pope Hall. There is also a worship hall above the Pope Hall, where the 7 great worshippers of the Douluo Hall live. The one in front of Yang Fan is the Spirit Holy Hall. According to the regulations of the Spirit Hall, the Hall Master of the Spirit Holy Hall must be a Platinum Bishop who has reached the Soul Douluo level, which also represents the facade of the Spirit Hall. The number of cardinals and deacons below Ceres is unknown. Master Yang Fan is not afraid to face the Spirit Hall, but is worried about Yao Lao's condition. Some time ago, he just took on a small pill thunder, which caused his soul to be turbulent. Although more than 2 months have passed, it can be felt that Yao Lao's condition has not fully recovered. Don't worry, silly boy. Even if we can't get rid of him, it's still okay to run away. The plan of the master and apprentice was simple. Facing a powerful Soul Douluo Soul Master, Yang Fan's account was obviously not feasible. Yang Fan took a deep breath and then completely relaxed his body. Master, you can come in. Chapter 25 Yao Lao's True Strength. Suddenly, a ball of energy exploded in his body. Yang Fan's consciousness was still there, but the skin was no longer under his control. This feeling was like a young boy who was addicted to the internet and was not able to play, but was suddenly controlled remotely. He could see the screen, but he was no longer the one who was controlling it. Yang Fan felt that there was a very powerful energy in his body, which was stronger than he had ever experienced before. The next moment, a familiar black cloak suddenly appeared on Yang Fan's body. The majestic fighting spirit surged out of his body and turned into a pair of huge white wings. With just one flap, he had already arrived above the Spirit Hall. Yao Lao stood under the 100-meter high building of the Spirit Hall and released his soul power to explore the entire hall. Although Yao Lao's strength in the soul state was seriously reduced, the soul power of the continent's #1 alchemist was still unmatched. Although he didn't know what the strength of the titled Douluo was, his soul power told him that there was no soul master who was stronger than Yang Wudi in the building under his feet. Yao Lao jumped from above and entered the Spirit Hall nimbly. Sereth was extremely excited to get the soul bone, but he felt uneasy no matter when or where he absorbed it. He was always on guard on the way back, fearing that someone who was not afraid of death would come out to snatch his soul bone. Fortunately, this did not happen. The night is long and dreams are many. Sereth thought about it and finally decided to absorb the soul bone after sending away the people inside the spirit temple. Just as he was about to absorb it, a slight movement in the air aroused his vigilance. The air in the room seemed to solidify, and Sereth's heartbeat began to accelerate. After confirming that there was no unusual sound outside the window, Sereth was relieved. As soon as he turned around, a black cloak appeared in the room. Sereth took a breath and his soul was almost scared away. Who are you? The person who came was not kind. The fact that he could appear in the room quietly showed that the person in front of him was not simple. Needless to say, this mysterious black cloak must have come for the soul bone. Sereth thought that someone might snatch it when he walked out of the auction house and that he would be ambushed on the way back. But he never expected that someone would be bold enough to break into the spirit temple to snatch the spirit bone. As he spoke, 8 standard spirit rings appeared under Salus' feet, and a strange weapon more than a foot long appeared in his hand. After the spirit was released, the whole room began to move without wind. This is Salus's spirit wind blade. A wind attributed weapon spirit, although it does not match the water attributed spirit bone being auctioned, he doesn't care so much. For a spirit master, there may only be one chance to see a spirit bone in a lifetime, so even if the attributes do not match, you have to absorb it. Facing Salus's questioning, Yao Lao did not speak. The surging fighting spirit surged from his body, covering the main floor of the room in the blink of an eye. Delay will lead to changes. Yao Lao also knew that dragging it out would do him more harm than good, so he did not intend to hold back from the beginning. Fighting spirit surged, strange fire rose, and his hands quickly formed seals at a speed that was completely invisible. As the hand seals were superimposed, the fighting spirit in Yao Lao's body was also rapidly increasing. Not good. After Ceres reacted, he rushed forward instantly. The speed provided by the wind attribute made him as fast as lightning. The first 4 soul rings on his body flashed with dazzling yellow and purple light. When the wind blade in his hand was thrown out, it was split into 5 on the path. The 5 wind blades shot towards Yao Lao from different directions. Flame dividing wave ruler. Yao Lao used this earth level fighting skill again. The target changed from the waterfall to Ceres, and the power naturally changed dramatically. Yao Lao raised the Xuantian ruler high, and then chopped it down with force. The white fighting spirit formed an energy light slash that burst out instantly, and the places it passed were extremely distorted. Ceres' 5 wind blades were submerged by the surging fighting spirit in the blink of an eye. Ceres was so scared that he immediately released his martial soul true body. He used 2 defensive soul skills, but failed to catch this light slash. "It's you?" Ceres suddenly understood. 2 months ago, there was a strange movement in the sky above the suburbs of Xiandao City. When he and several cardinals rushed to the scene of the incident, the place was already empty, but he clearly remembered the breath left by the strong man. "Who are you?" He couldn't figure out Yao Lao's specific identity, and he didn't remember such a person on Douluo Continent. It was so weird. This person had no spirit rings, and it didn't seem like he was using spirit power, but the light slash he emitted caused him great trouble, and he could only barely take it. After releasing his martial spirit, Yao Lao moved. He quickly approached Sereth with an extremely weird body movement, and at the same time, the fighting spirit on his body surged up and quickly condensed in his right hand at a speed visible to the naked eye. There were no gorgeous moves, no cool techniques, just a seemingly ordinary punch. Facing the falling fist, Sereth naturally chose to take it hard. At first, he didn't notice anything unusual, but half a second later, Sereth's face was distorted violently, and his body seemed to be squeezed by an invisible force. Yang Fan recognized the 8 extreme collapse. It was a high-level Xuan level fighting skill. When it was practiced to perfection, the attack contained 8 layers of energy. The 8 layers were superimposed, and the power was comparable to that of a low-level earth-level fighting skill. The current situation in Sereth's body must be caused by the dark energy of the 8 extreme collapse. Master is amazing. If it was the old Yang Fan, he would definitely not be able to see through the mystery, but he has learned a lot in the 2 months in the Great Soul fighting arena. Yao Lao first used the strongest flame-devouring wave ruler to break Ceres's defense, and the real killer move was hidden in the not-so-gorgeous 8 extreme collapse. Ceres, who was struggling with the dark power of the 8 extreme collapse, suddenly thought of the pulse protection pill he bought at the auction for 10,000 gold soul coins, and took it out of the soul guide without any hesitation. After the pill went into his throat, Ceres's face became even uglier. Damn it. It didn't have the life-saving effect described at all. Before Ceres had time to feel depressed, Yao Lao ended the old thief's life with a Xuan level fighting skill, the fire-blowing palm. The pulse protection pill can indeed protect the body in the pulse, but any pill has a range of power. How much effect can a second grade pill expect? Someone is coming. The battle between Yao Lao and Ceres was just a few seconds, but it would still alarm the highly vigilant Wuhan Hall. No more thinking. Yao Lao sucked with his palm power and flew high with the soul bone. Before the soul masters of the spirit hall arrived at the scene of the crime, they had disappeared into the clouds. This is the innate advantage brought by the wings of Daoqi. Unless the soul masters on the Douluo Continent awaken the flying spirit, they can only change this embarrassing situation when they become titled Douluo. The hall master is dead. The soul bone is gone too. The cardinal who rushed over was frightened by the situation in front of him and immediately froze. He knew what had just happened here. Someone stole the soul bone and killed the whole master seraph. Quickly notify the Pope's Hall and tell His Holiness the Pope this news. The death of a soul Douluo level Hall Master in the Spirit Hall is no joke. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.